just chatting because I just want to make sure that the audio is live this time.
That's fair.
Because last time I was a big poopy head.
It's only because you didn't check.
Yeah.
Now that you're checking, it's going to be fine.
But yeah. But no,
I mean, I'm just going to have to double check.
Yep, just do it every time.
Yeah.
Yep. Always
reason
with the checking. Paranoia. It is a trait.
Yeah,
it is a
seems
trait
to be
that
working.
is strong in the streamer.
Yep, because I checked, it was working. So
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Would rate again.
This is how technology works.
I'm just
Alrighty.
looking at the cover of Nations, Kings and Gods. That is a really cool piece of artwork.
There's a lot. Did any of you were any of you in the Art of Privateer Press Kickstarter?
No, but I picked it up like last week off the War Machine Hordes trade group, and
Nice.
I just considered it my birthday present to myself, and I was like really happy because you can't buy
really
it.
good.
Yeah, it's I've because it's like talking about art. There is actually some really nice art in there that I.
And also
But
some
I-
level 7 art.
God. Yeah, level 7 was never my thing. It's
No,
like
same.
literally never got into it. But I really like Monster Apocalypse when I get a chance to play it. Not many people play it around here.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I never got into it, because I was just... It's the same as Warcaster now. Like, I just looked at it and went, yeah, I struggle enough to play War Machine. Why would I pick up another game? The only reason I play Riot Quest is because it's War Machine adjacent.
Oh, Harlow Hold'em Pie. Oh, that model is so good.
The gun
Fucking
arc.
Harlow.
Oh, yeah,
He is
I
the
painted
devil.
my Harlow. Actually, I painted my Harlow while we were streaming a few weeks ago.
Nice.
You're gonna have to send me pictures at some time.
I've got a picture somewhere. Hold on.
Righty ho,
really
so
good.
we are live, guys. I doubt there's anybody particularly watching right now, but for those of you watching later on YouTube, welcome on in. This is the Grey Lanterns IKRPG. This week we have with us.
Support Tom's Patreon.
Oh right, yeah, I was gonna get to that. I just wanted to say thank you very much, David. I noticed just before I came on to run this session that you supported the Patreon, so big thanks for that, mate. That puts me up to 3 patrons now.
Nice.
Yeah. My friend Andrew, who was the first one to go, will be slightly annoyed that he doesn't have ultimate rule over the content I create, because I let my patrons pick on a poll of what I'm going to write about next, and when he was the only patron, he had ultimate decision over what I wrote.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So the real question is, when is the God Only fans going to open up?
Oh god.
When I have enough
no.
feet pics.
Feed pics.
Mate, mine have little ginger hairs on the toes. Like,
Oh,
it's
God.
Someone will
it's
pay
good.
extra for that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they will. I mean,
The curse of the ginger. We all have hobbit feet.
I'm 6'2" as well, so these are some big feet. You know.
We
There you go.
we were having a conversation on the Kador Discord channel the other day, which is a very weird, dark place, by the way. Anyone who's listening and wants to go there, about which Warcaster we would date, and the fact that Fiora was ginger, big bonus in her favour.
Nice.
For who? You or generally people?
No, me.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I feel a little bit weird now.
Yeah, it's that is actually a really interesting question. I'd love to ask this group, but not just before a roleplay.
Well, the obvious answer is Saren and Rias, because 2 chicks at the same time.
Yeah, but dude, the blight. Or does for you blight
could only
make
be an
right?
improvement.
I think someone did say Haley 3 because, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
I-
that reminds me of a meme I made ages ago. It was just a picture of Kane, and it said, "How come Haley gets to play with herself, but I don't?" Because like you can't bring Kane 0 and Kane 2.
Yeah.
So I was like, how come she gets to play with herself? Right, so this week we have Constantine.
Hello.
And we have Murta.
Aye.
We have Justin.
Justin!
And we have some hooded woman riding a Adele meat suit. That's you, Colin.
I'm sorry, I didn't realise I was playing a woman now.
You're not. You're playing Adele, who totally has.
Agency.
Yeah. Anywho, so last week was the big Lock and Load stream. You guys investigated the Sheridan Manor. Well, when I say investigated, I mean you destroyed the shit out of everything that was inside it.
Like you do.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that fight. It went really, really well. We didn't get as much time investigating as I would like, and we are still currently there. So in terms of what happens next, that's where we are. So does anyone have anything particular that they want to start off with?
Murder is still in the middle of talking about knuckle and rock, paper, scissors with the various guards and passing around a bottle of wine.
Brilliant. It's just worth me reminding you that at the end of the session, you guys found a shield with a Lyrian face on it and a hand cannon with a face on the end of the barrel, with the end of the barrel being a mouth.
Beware the head cannon.
I'm just going to go and change its name to Headcanon. Hold on.
Head cannon. I like
Head
it.
cannon.
I'm not going to lie, I like it.
Apply head cannon to stuff. Yeah.
Ranged weapons.
Also, boys, the guy that you keep shoving forward to negotiate with people now actually has some points in negotiation.
When did you take
Do we
that?
shove you forward, or do you inadvertently shove yourself forward?
When did you take points in negotiation?
With
We just
our
got two
last
occupational skills.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we just got our 2 occupation skills, so I can.
Well, that was the session
Yeah.
before, wasn't it?
No, that was last week.
Last session.
Oh,
I
yeah, of
took,
course, I gave you 3, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yep, I gave you 3
That's
XP,
true.
so you went from 17 to 20. I remember now. I was very, very tired at that point. And I had consumed
Being awake for 18 hours.
some Kraken and some cider that stream as well.
Release the Kraken. Very different meaning.
Yes.
So, also things that happened. You managed to save 3 of the guards. One of which needs medical attention. The other 2 are fine.
Have we stabilised him yet?
He didn't go down to needing stabilise. He's just hanging on. So
Can I check out how he's doing then?
yeah, of course you can. It's the one top
Hey,
left.
I'm sorry, Alan, how much XP should we have?
You should have
We
20.
should be on 20.
Okay, thank you.
Top left.
So at the end of this session, we get an ability.
Down 1 room. There he
That
is.
one.
It's that one.
Yeah.
Yes, at the end of this session you will gain either an ability, a spell, or a military skill. Ignore connection because there's no point.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've done a medicine roll.
Yep. So using some of the supplies from your medicine campaign pack, you use an alchemical tincture that is in there that is good for reducing the effects of corrosive burns, and you dress his wounds because he got purged on by a Balthorol.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get purged on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just how life goes.
Very, very true. So it turns out I kind of wasted my time making the extra upper floor maps because we didn't use them.
Hey, we went up. We found
them.
books on horticulture.
Yeah, you did. But you didn't take them because they're not yours. And you guys aren't thieves.
Well, Adele, did you take clothes?
He did take clothes.
Yes, because you told me to. In fact, I took the bath salves and the lotions and the clothes, including the ladies'
How about
clothes.
towel? Do we have the towels?
You know, I don't believe Tom mentioned any towels or bath salts.
I have enough towels. They're useful.
Yes,
Situation.
you don't want to encounter Towelgate like one of the WTCs.
Is that a thing? Did they not have enough towels at WTC?
No, they did. It's just one of the Welsh teams went and went absolutely out their mind because they couldn't find any towels.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
That sounds like an anecdote.
How drunk were they at the time? That's the question.
I didn't actually go to that WTC, so I can't be 100% sure. I just know when they got back, I was told extensively about Towelgate.
Fair enough. Righty-ho. So, Adele currently would be having his brief inside conversation. Murta and Justin look like they're exploring the various corridors. Oh no, sorry, Murta, you said you were speaking to the guards, making sure they're okay, and lightening the mood for them somewhat.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to bring them all into the main room, because everybody would be relatively spooked. They'd want to stay somewhere a little bit safe.
I'm sat on the steps, and just like sat on the steps. Wine going round.
Justin is kind of sort of going to take his time, slowly moving through, making sure he didn't miss anything interesting that he might want to pass on to the captain.
Brilliant.
So, I guess protection or something? I don't know.
Brilliant. Oh, that is all still there. Fantastic. Yeah, so detection would work.
Cool. I got a 13.
Okay, so 1 second while I just come back to your screen, because I wasn't at all doing things on another screen cheekily. So you actually find, because you're roughly in, I'm going to say, a storeroom, you find some food that, if you collected it together in various bags that are nearby, could count as rations.
Ooh, neat.
Enough rations for 10 food servings.
Hey, Captain, I found grub.
Well, if it looks more edible than what we get from Mograt, it's probably good.
It does look more. This is a mansion. He basically found some like quality cheeses that are wrapped in wax. So yeah, quality cheeses wrapped in wax, salted meats, things that would last in the larder. I'm assuming that he would have looked at the extreme perishables and just eaten them while he was in there.
Lots of cheese in my face like a Skyrim character.
Well, like that, I remember seeing a comic strip that was like, and on that day,
he just keeps shoving cheese in his mouth.
Oh, the one I saw was like a Whiterun guard talking to a smaller Whiterun guard that's his son, and he's like, and then the Dragonborn, mid-fight with the dragon, ate 20 wheels of cheese.
Yep.
Oh, I love it. Righty. Anyone else doing anything in particular, or do you want to? Because it's night time currently. Oh no, I said it was dawn as you guys finished the fight, didn't I?
You did.
Yep. So
to
it's morning
make it
time.
easier while we were searching the upper floors.
Yep. Yeah. So it's essentially morning now. Constantine, can you give me a? No, not Constantine. Sorry, Adele and Murta. Can you give me fizz rolls, please? Adele and Murta.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
Oh dear.
Okay. Thank you. So what are you guys up to next?
Have we found all we need to find here?
You found what Raleigh's notes had pointed you towards.
Is there any other indication of any notes that he might have made or anything? I suppose his family didn't own the mansion, so it's not his.
Not anymore. No, they used to own it a long time ago, but he sold it off a while back.
Okay.
Adele climbs the roof to look at the dawn and watch the sunrise.
Okay.
If everyone's done, then Mert will suggest that we get the guards back to their posting, help them make their report, and then either get home to rest, or if it's going to take a while to get home, maybe rest in the local tavern. Looking pointedly at the guards as he mentions this.
So they agree to that and take you to the local tavern where you guys can rest up.
Neat.
That is assuming that there's nothing else for anyone else to do.
Unless anybody asks anything specific.
I guess the guards are satisfied with what we did.
Oh yeah, they're extremely satisfied. They don't even question it because you met them on your way in. They know that you weren't here before, so there's no question of you guys being in trouble or anything like that. They know that you guys have done good.
Cool beans.
The one that isn't injured at all, and therefore doesn't need as much rest, he says, I'm going to go report in with my boss and let him know what's gone down.
Okay, thank you, medium importance NPC.
I think JP already named that guy.
He named all of them. Just can't
All of them,
remember
I don't
which is
remember their
which.
names because I was
He can remember their
honestly
names.
pretty drunk at the time, but
Go on,
I
JP.
know
What was his
Billy
name?
died.
Francois.
Billy died. I think there was a Francois, a Gaspard, Francis. I think there was a Francis. There's got to be a Francis, right?
Right. So was this Francis?
Pretty sure this one was Francois.
There we go.
Okay, so this one's Francois, and he just nods to you guys and says, "I'll just go speak to my boss." So, you guys, you are resting up for the first time in a little while, and the weight of what just happened at that manor house surely playing on people's minds.
I think that calls for a picture of beer. Beer!
The bar-
Little peculiar for the Ricks to be this far inland, isn't it?
outside of major war zones, yes.
Adele goes to sit outside and have a private conversation with himself.
Adele, before you do that, you are feeling a bit
Peaky.
You're feeling a bit under the weather, shall we say. Actually, detection rolls for other people, not Adele.
Detection rolls, you say?
Yes, please, detection rolls.
Find my
Please.
character sheet.
Constantine, you, with your medical knowledge, look over at Adele and you think he looks rather red in the face and sweaty. Should you put your hand to his forehead, you would notice he's running temperature.
Okay. Is there any other indications of what might have caused this temperature?
Not that you can see, no.
Are you feeling okay, Adele?
No, I think that the rat fever has got me.
Well, that's not good.
Have you got any bites on you?
He does.
Okay. In which case, we have some doses of.
He's already taken it.
Ah. Right.
Just to give you guys a bit of like knowledge, GM voice basically. The antidote basically lowered the roll that you need to stave off the illness.
Right.
But he rolled an 8, so you know.
Right. In which case, do you think maybe that you should rest?
Or do you think you're alright to carry on doing what you're doing?
I think I would like some time outside to reflect. That is restful.
Okay.
Okay, you do what you need to do.
Fresh
No
air will probably
drinking,
do you
and
good.
then bed.
Alrighty.
No drinking. That doesn't make sense. It's good for you.
Just noting that this
Well,
Constantine.
I would like to say, Jostin, that I believe my humors are out of alignment. The bile is not balanced.
Black.
Oh, well, I don't know what that means, but I'm pretty sure the all will disinfect your insides. That's good, right?
No, I need leeches. Leeches to pull out the
Leeches.
poisoned blood.
I don't know. Last time we dealt with leeches, it wasn't very good.
Yes, maybe you have a point.
What were you trying to say, David?
I was just going to say, if you're getting leeches deal with blood, not with black or yellow bile. So, maybe leeches aren't the right thing if your bile is out of balance.
Well, you know more about this than I.
I mean, it's all cargo cult science anyway. But if you feel that you know your own body best, which let's be fair, you probably do, then feel free to take some time outside.
Alrighty. So, I'm guessing the rest of you go back inside to let him gaze at the sun being halfway up in the sky or something, I don't know. The rest of you go in. Murta's already secured you guys a pitcher, and the guards have paid for it.
Oh, nice of them.
Well, they're quite grateful for not being dead. One of them says to you, God, I dread to think what would have happened if you guys hadn't turned up. We'd have gone in that mansion by ourselves. Would have been butchered.
I am certain, sir, that with your experience and training in the guard, you would have been fine.
You flatter us, but you saw what happened to the rest of us. No, you guys should take the credit you're due.
Sir, we worked as a team to defeat those things. I worry what would have happened if you hadn't been that.
Thank you kindly. Alrighty. So you drink merrily, even though it's only like 10 in the morning at this point. But
5 o'clock somewhere.
considering the evening that you had, it's a drink well earned. So about 20 minutes after you sit down drinking, Adele, are you still outside?
Yes, still outside chattering in my head.
Okay. The watch commander for this town, well, not town, it's more like a little hamlet that's just down the road from the Sheridan Manor. He turns up and says, I heard I need to speak to the Grey Lanterns. I guess that's you guys?
Yeah, that would be us.
Well, if half of what Francois said about you guys and what you did last night is true, we owe you our most sincere thanks.
Well, that very much depends on what exactly was said. But I assure you, sir, the watch did its duty.
Well, from what I heard, things could have gone south very fast. We'd just like to offer you our profound thanks, and you're welcome to stay here for the night on us. And please take this as a token of our gratitude. It's not much, but it's all we have right now. And he hands you a coin purse with 10 gold in it.
Neat.
What did he hand us?
A coin purse with 10 gold in it.
Oh, cool. Have you got that, Murder?
Aye.
It's money, he's on it.
Reckon he heard the jangle jingle.
Yeah, he could probably guesstimate its weight based on the visual look of it.
Just lifts it. Seems like about.
So,
Seems like this many coins.
so he says, you needn't worry, we will be reporting this to the highest up. We'll probably have to report it to the military, in fact. We will give you guys the credit you're due.
Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Is there anything else that you need us for?
No. Just enjoy the rest of your day. Try to relax after what's obviously been a particularly horrifying evening, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But again, our sincerest thanks. And he says, "Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna be taking the rest of the guardsmen that weren't there last night, and some volunteers from the village to go attempt to clean up and organise remains for transportation to the city for inspection." And then he said they'll probably end up destroying them after it's all been catalogued.
Watch Commander, what have we got you here?
Yep.
So, how much do you know much about the Grey Lanterns?
No, not in particular. I mean, we knew that the guy that used to, the family that used to live here, owned them. Mercenary company is what we're understanding.
Aye. Obviously, we know as well. It's great that you know that our old boss used to own the place. How it's obviously with the new family. It's if everything's it's found that no one's there to look after the place, could you let us know? Because we did care about him, and it would be nice to be able to kind of try and look after the place if we could try and do that.
So, do you mean if they're all... He gulps a little. Dead?
Yeah, because if it comes out, if no one owns it, obviously, like I said, we'd just like to look after the place. Really?
Well, I'm not a property lawyer, but my understanding of things is if the families all that owns it are all dead, then it would revert to the king's property.
Aye, it's like I said. Just let us know. We can work out.
Where can I contact you?
Particulars. Shit, he's outside.
Who's outside?
Our man has cards. Adele.
Adele,
Yeah.
outside,
So-
you say?
The
Are you talking about the haunted-looking chap? Sweaty guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy looks like he needs a rest.
Yeah, he'll have a sleep, but he's got cards and they got all the information on
Brilliant. Okay.
before contacting us.
Well, I'll touch in with him on my way out.
So,
Is there
smash
anything
it, be
else?
great. Anyone? That's all I can think of.
Alrighty. So he gives you guys a sharp salute and leaves the pub, and he approaches Adele and taps him on the shoulder.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Adele doesn't.
Yes.
I was
How
gonna-
may I help you?
Are you Adele?
I am indeed. Who do I have the pleasure of? I'm sorry. What's your name?
Watch
Who are you?
Watch Commander Sixers.
Oh, wonderful. And I am Adele of the Grey Lanterns, second in command of the company. What can I do to assist you?
I was told that I could get a business card off you to be able to contact you guys when I find out what has happened to the residents of the manor that you defended last night.
Oh, yes. I spoke to one of your men about perhaps the possibility of purchasing. Hold on. Let me pull out a card for you. Say, good sir, would you happen to know somewhere where is a apothecary around here, or somewhere that offers what do they call it? Barber surgeon, something like that. Do you have
Closest
any
one would
knowledge of such
be in the
things?
city.
Yes, Five Fingers. Yes. Oh, by the way, you're fallen. Do you need a escort for them? I noticed that several of them fell to the Mechanathral, and I would imagine that the Order of Illumination might like to have a look at them. And since we're heading back to the city anyway, might I place ourselves at your disposal?
Order of Illumination? No. We're just going to be taking this up with the Ordic military. We don't have contacts within the Order of Illumination. We'll let them handle it.
Very, very well then. But you should know there were Jacks there, Crixian Jacks. We have one of your colleagues, Watch Commander. I don't remember his name. Watch Captain even. On, I think, Captain's Island. Anyway, he knows all about this as well, and he suggested we went to the Order of Illumination. These cricks, they've been popping up everywhere in Five Fingers. Anyway, good day to you. Oh, and here's the card. And apologies for your loss. We did all we could, but there were few of us and many of them.
He gives you a kind of an apologetic-looking smile and walks away holding the business card between his two hands, looking down at it, but kind of bemused at the concept of a business card. Alrighty. So, what do you guys want to do with the rest of your day?
I'm gonna really give this headcanon a look over and see if I can see anything out of the ordinary with it.
Okay. Can you do a gunsmithing roll?
I don't have gunsmithing.
Okay. Just a detection roll then.
Solid.
So you look at this headcanon, as you're calling it, and you think this looks really well made. You think, well, no, sorry, not you think. You notice that it looks really well made. It looks to be quite old, but it looks like it's been really well looked after.
Okay, cool.
You know, it isn't suffering from corrosion. It's been well oiled over its lifetime. The weapon really looks like it's been cared for.
Cool. Okay, and then I'm gonna holster it.
Okay. Alrighty. So, anyone else got anything that they want to do?
What happened to the shield? Who's got the shield?
Balasar has the
Alistair's
shield.
got the shield.
Yeah.
Murta is going to drink, make merry, and play cards until he feels the need to go to bed.
Alrighty.
Dawson's probably gonna do the same thing, probably without the cards though, because not a gambler.
While everyone's playing cards, Constantine's going to get his book out and start reading it.
Okay. Cool.
I do sing very poorly, but very loudly.
Brilliant.
I start trying to teach you Shardic sea shanties.
I'm in.
I'm just going to go and check on Adele.
Adele has pulled his new robe, hooded robe, around him as tightly as he can, and he's
sorry,
huddling up
what hooded robe?
from the dead woman.
Okay, that
one
is
we
quite,
retrieved.
That is quite tattered, by the way, because it got shot, slashed with an axe. Your spell lanced through it. It's not in the best condition. Just letting you know.
That's okay. Adele will wear it for the time being because it's got a hood.
Okay. Fantastic. Just wanted to let you know. It's not a fancy, in good condition hood.
This is an excellent disguise for Adele, considering he's a posh twat.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Look
Look,
less.
you just let him have his safety blankie, okay?
I'm not judging much.
These are the things sent to try you. Alrighty.
Yes.
So, anyone else doing anything in particular?
Well, there is a private conversation I would like to have with a spectral voice.
Sure, go for it.
Something which Murtaugh would be interested in, since it involves the use of the word contract.
Okay, go for it.
So, Adele says, inside his mind, Jade, I've been thinking about something. Now, I don't know how much you know about these things, probably a lot, but one rests, souls have a way of, shall we say, becoming unanchored. And I was thinking that I don't know how long I can keep you tethered to myself. I think that perhaps you should rest within my body, but for that, we need to discuss terms. There's certain things I wouldn't want you doing with this flesh sack of mine.
Okay. She says, what do you mean?
Well, I'm rather precious about how can I put this politely, who I breed with. I don't like to breed with just anybody. I'm sure this wouldn't come up, but still, I just wanted to let you know. I'm also rather partial about what I actually put in this body, especially drinks and food. I'm sure you understand.
I think you... She says, I think you think that I can somehow control you. I don't... I can't even see through your eyes. I can't hear through your ears. I can only hear you when you think. I can't hear your thoughts unless you choose them. Well, unless you've been not thinking for the last few hours. I haven't heard a thing.
Can I roll the equivalent of an insight?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, it's taking a while to
Yeah, no, it's fine.
look between.
I don't think I put it across very well, but basically what she's saying is she has no access to your senses. And
Yeah, I got that. I wanted to see if she's lying. Is that detection?
yeah, detection would work. And bearing in mind,
that's
this
the
is a
first.
detection where because she's just in your head, she doesn't really have a good way to lie convincingly. Because unlike other people, including yourself, she doesn't have an inner monologue anymore. So she literally just has herself on a stick, you know. You are convinced that she is being truthful.
Can I roll a law Tharamite to see if possession of the body through a soul is actually a thing that
Yep.
Adele knows about?
You could totally do that.
Wow, that's a terrible roll.
You've never heard of such a thing, but you do not discount its possibility. But you've never heard of it. You've never heard of it yourself, but you're of the mind that you know, because of the nature of the type of Tharamite you are. You're like, well, I've never heard of it done before, but doesn't mean it couldn't be done.
Okay, so I'm going to answer her, and I'm going to say, well, in that case, well, how can I put this delicately? Look, I feel terrible that we destroyed your body 3 times, and I don't want you to wander off into the ether. If I was willing to share my body with you, perhaps we could come to some sort of arrangement, you know, until we could find you a soul cage and maybe put you back into a body of your own. I would like to propose that we take this partnership as far as we can take it. And I hope you've been giving my offer some consideration about ascending to divinity.
You get distinct feelings of confusion from her, and no answer.
Well, continue to think about it. I view us as allies, and should you ever desire to inhabit my body, then you are more than welcome to. But just try not to damage it. Anyway, I'm not feeling well, so we'll chat later. You reflect upon things, and when you have something to say, just chime in.
You just get the thought of general confusion and a very sense of this is unusual. Why is somebody? What's the trap? Is the feeling that you get.
And if there's anything that I can clarify for you, my dear lady, please don't hesitate to ask either. Consider myself at your disposal, since we are now allies, and I hope one day friends.
Okay. With that, she says no more.
And I'm assuming Constantine walks over at this point.
How are you feeling?
Ugh.
Do you think you might benefit from getting some sleep?
Ugh.
There's a room waiting for you, paid for upstairs if you need it.
Thank you. I think I will retire. I wouldn't want to be the proverbial dead weight that drags everyone else down.
I wouldn't want you to be the literal dead weight that drags everyone else down. So go and get some rest, please.
Very well. And if you want me to look over the artifacts we acquired, I'd be happy to inspect them.
That is probably a good idea, but for tomorrow.
Oh, by the way, I have something for you here. And Adele hands you the red stone.
Oh, thank you. I kind of put it in a pouch.
I need to give the green one to Murta.
Okay. And then, Tom, what sort of time is it? I know it was dawn when we...
So at this point, it's about lunchtime, so can you make a fizz roll, please, Colin?
And that's a 14.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So you're going to bed now, Colin?
Yeah, and before I do, I'm going to release the guardsman's soul.
Okay. So only you can see the soul coalesce out of your body, and then it kind of swirls around for a few minutes before disappearing on its way to Arcane.
So, would there be anywhere open for buying things?
Not really. It's a village. It's a pretty small village. I mean, there'd be like a local blacksmith. There'd be a food somewhere to buy food. But there's not like shops in a proper sense here.
Okay. And I will go back inside and continue reading.
Okay, cool. You still reading your Goth book?
Yeah.
Right, cool. You're not going to get more than Olgoth 1 from that book, by the way.
That's alright.
Just letting you know.
We're hoping that I'll get the ability to boost.
Okay. It's not going to happen. I'll just be honest. Because the book only has so much knowledge. It's like if you could imagine reading a book on Romans and then expecting to know everything about the Romans. You'd only know what's in that book.
Okay, go switch to the other book then.
Do you see what I mean, though?
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
I'll switch to the other book.
Yep. And that book is on the history of the border wars between
Kador and Ord.
Yep. So this is the interesting thing for you as a character, Constantine. You'd have only heard of these from the Kador perspective. This is written from the Ordic perspective.
Ooh, interesting.
So, yes, it would be very much a different point of view, because in your country, history would be written by them, and they would be saying, things like this particular border conflict was provoked by an Ordic village settling too close to the border, and the Ordic point of view might be completely different. That, in fact, they'd lived there for generations, and the Kadorians have decided to move the border without telling anybody, or,
Yeah.
Alrighty. Anybody else got anything that they want to do while they're in the pub?
Another drunk patron.
Hmm?
I said I'm dancing with another patron.
They're very amused at the bar in general are very amused at the idea of this giant of a trollkin dressed in trencher armour dancing around drunkenly.
Just make sure you don't dance like the butcher dances with Lola.
Oh, no. That ain't me.
Alright.
I have most of my faculties, sir. I don't randomly have flashbacks I know of.
Constantine hears mention of the butcher and gives a very sour look.
Can I make some gambling rolls, Tom?
Oh yeah, sure, certainly.
Sure. I'll put in. I don't know. I'll make sure it's my own money.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hamlet, so if I put 3 silvers on the table, that's probably more than most of them.
Yeah, that's a bit
Regular.
rich for their blood.
Yeah. Okay, we'll put a silver down.
Yeah. One guy there kind of gives you the nod, and you guys are playing blackjack.
Yeah, blackjack. Blackjack's easy.
Well, Iron Kingdom's equivalent of blackjack. Make a gambling roll for me, please, sir.
Absolutely. Wow, okay. Pretty happy with that.
Alrighty, so you win the first round. This isn't for the whole silver. This is presumably you'd bet in bits of it. I don't know.
Yeah. it kind of like it's a silver would be a lot for this area, so it's just like bet in bits.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
so,
not expecting to make masses of money from this, Tom. It's more. Just a
you
character
won the
thing.
first round.
Cool. Two more rolls and that, and call it there.
Yep. Wow.
Ooh, that's
No,
terrible.
it doesn't matter. This guy's pretty bad. He goes all in on a 3-4, and you happened to have a 10 and an ace. You got lucky.
Fair enough.
And the last
And
roll.
Decent. Woo! I gained silver.
So on the last one, he actually beats you and manages to keep himself 3 of the copper that make up the silver. So you actually gain 6 silver. 6 copper.
Fair enough.
He rolled really well on the last roll. But the other rolls,
Nice.
he rolled like a double 1 and and a 4.
Oh dear.
Yeah, even adding his perception, which would be like a 2 or a 3 because he's just a villager.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So can I get a fizz roll from Adele, please? Because we're at about dinner time now. Okay, thank you, Newt. Alrighty. So Balasar, feeling a bit protective over Adele, takes him up a bowl of stew from that's being served at the bar at this point.
Adele opens one very frosty, heavy eyelid, squints at Balasar, sniffs, and then tries to extend a very shaky hand from his tattered, blood-covered robe, his hood still pulled up, and he kind of waves the best as he can, his mouth completely dry as he hoarsely croaks, "Thank you, my friend."
Balasar, seeing how weak you look, grasps the spoon in his meaty trollkin fingers and feeds you.
Adele isn't actually indignant about this because he feels so crap.
So at least you've eaten. Alrighty. So you're now approaching the evening, and a couple of the guards that had been with you, the injured one has left already to go get himself patched up. The other one is still hanging around drinking with Myrta and Joston, but is looking very tired at this point. Having been up all night like you guys were, and it's now like 6 or 7 p.m. Yeah, he's looking a bit worse for wear, and he says, "Yeah, I think I should probably head home. Thanks again, gents."
Aye. See if you can wangle a couple of sick days out of this, eh?
He looks at you and goes, "What's a sick day?"
I look at him and go, "Oh, you poor man. Right, this is a sick day." And I sit down and just briefly explain it and go, "So, you've had an imbalance of what they call them. Your mind is imbalanced, and you need some days to settle it."
Your attempts
Wink,
to unionise the Iron Kingdoms have made a slight successful inroad as he goes, right, yeah, okay, and leaves, talking about sick days and paid leave.
I learned this from Adele.
Yes, I had remembered that. The power of paper, Myrta. The power of paper.
Alrighty. So a bloke walks in from out of the rain, because it's now chucking it down. shaking off his overcloak that he had been wearing to stave off the worst of the rain, and he just announces to the room, "Awful night out there." Terrible business.
Imagine it is.
Terrible business has happened down at the Sheridan estate.
Oh, what have you heard?
Crick's attack butchered everyone.
Everyone?
Yeah, even some of the guards that went to investigate the disturbance.
How many people were there living there?
As far as I know, there was the Lord of the Manor and his wife, and there'd be her, the ladyship's mother, and their servants, of course.
Interesting.
Yep, they've found them all dead.
Does anyone know what happened?
Well, like I said,
in more detail.
Crick's attack's all I got from the guards. That's all they'd tell me. Told me to move along.
And who are you, sir?
Me? I'm slowly.
Slowly?
Yeah, slowly.
Slowly what?
Joe.
Okay. And what was your business at the Sheridan?
Right, I just saw the smoke. Had a nose about.
And did your nose about acquire you anything?
Just a swift turnabout from the guards as they told me to get out.
Okay.
Said they didn't need civvies poking about the place. Looks like they're being careful for looters, if you understand my drift. Not that I'm a looter.
No, I quite imagine not. That is...
Can I make a detection roll to get past that bald-faced fucking lie?
Yeah, of course you can.
Boosting, because I know this shit. Actually, would Streetwise be better?
Yeah, Streetwise is good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for characters using skills that are appropriate to their characters. You highly suspect that this guy had intended to poke about and see what he could nick.
Right.
You don't think he had any more malicious intent than just profiteering, basically.
Behind Constantine, I give the guy a wink, like a knowing wink of, yeah, all right, mate.
He says, "Oh, were you guys been about there, or have you been here the whole time?"
Oh, well, you know, we've heard things.
Okay. Fair enough. Say no more. Mind if I join you guys for a drink?
Sorry.
What did you say, JP?
I really gave those Crixians what for?
Oh, you guys were there.
Oh, I said I heard it.
Ah, crikey.
Confirm or deny my presence at the thing.
Well, if you were, you guys are heroes. I'd certainly like to buy you a drink if that's the case.
I don't drink, but thank you for the offer.
Well, maybe some food then.
Are we standard pub fare?
You've already eaten, by the way.
Right, okay. Yeah. No, we've already eaten.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Murta goes, I'll take you up on that drink. Come over here, my friend. Let's have a whiskey and a chat about what's going on in the world, eh?
He says, yeah, sure. Are you buying?
Ah, I thought you just offered the drinks.
Yeah. I did that. Yeah. All right then. And he kind of like glumly goes to the bar and says, two ales. And comes back with an ale for you and an ale for him.
So I'll sit in the corner and see what he's actually at, and have a chat with him about what all that's going on in the world.
Yeah, he says, is that a Shard accent I detect?
It's yeah. It might be.
Made your way to the mainland, eh? Made your way to the mainland, eh?
Aye, you know how it is.
Business
Get
or
across
pleasure?
the water. Now that's an answer that's gonna cost you an answer. What were you really doing up at the manor, my friend?
Oh, I was just having a look about.
Yeah, sure. And again, I kind of give him that look. It's like I know, I'm just waiting for you to be honest with me.
Just seeing if there was anyone that needed help, if you know what I mean.
Alright, yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, some people need help carrying things.
Aye, and, you know, it's particularly when it glitters, like small glittery, it's, you know, they need someone to keep an eye on it, don't they?
They can be the heaviest sometimes. Deceptively heavy.
Aye, absolutely. It's, and, you know, you just need to make sure that you lighten their load a bit, don't you?
Well, I like to do my civic duty.
Aye, it was originally business, but it's pleasure. It's pleasure now. I'm rather enjoying my time with the fine folk at the Grey Lanterns.
Grey Lanterns, you say?
Yeah.
And what do you guys do?
Bit of this, bit of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
River work.
You know. We've been on rivers. It's It kind of used to be a lot bigger, so it used to be a lot more soldiering. But we're doing a lot more like helping out people, or you know, making things a bit easier for some folk. You know.
Oh, fair enough. Well, each to their own.
Each their own. I speak in Shard briefly to go, do you have a clue what I'm saying?
He says in Shard to you, yeah, sounds like you've gone soft.
Nah, you just want to make sure the pricks around us don't have a fucking clue what we're saying. Which bit of the Shard are you from?
He says to you, the bit that I ain't never going back to.
Same as me then.
I thought you had the look.
Aye. Luckily, nothing that's too telling.
Well, less said about that place, the better.
Aye. But you know, it's always good to know where people are. It's I am part of a mercenary company. We do a bit of fucking work. Been a lot of good fights. Been enjoying that. But if you ever need, well, I kind of tell him where we are in Tracer Island, and I go, always feel free to hit me up. But don't hit up the others. They're all a bit like hoity-toity posh people.
What
Jostle's
type of work is this? Honest work or proper work?
The rest of them will want honest, but if you give me some proper work, I'll see what I can do.
Fair enough. If anything comes by that I think I might need an extra man for, I'll consider it. What's your specialty?
I kind of slightly draw the blade and go, mostly I stab the shit out of people.
Alright, fair. I can respect that. That. Pistols myself.
Ah, good man. I've recently started to learn how to use the long pistol.
Yeah, I think you'll find that's called a rifle, mate.
It's long. I knew some crews back in the place that we won't name that had pistols. I've never saw a rifle before. Big man taught me.
Fair enough. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to be off because I've got to catch the next boat that don't know I'm coming. If you know what I mean.
Absolutely, my friend. And I pull out a gold from my pouch and toss it to him. Got to look out for each other, ain't we?
He catches it, looks at it, and looks really confused and says, "What's this for?"
Hey, like I said, keep an eye out for each other, and if there's ever any work, you let me know first, don't you?
He tosses it back to you and says, "I don't need paying off. I know you mean well, but you don't need to bribe me."
I'm not bribing you, mate.
Well,
but
I'm just saying, I earn all my money, and he's still speaking Shard. I earn all my money as dishonestly as I can, and alike, and I don't need no handouts. I respect that you're from there, but you don't need to give me no handout just because you're in a fancy job. You understand me?
I laugh and go, fair enough, man. It's
Catch you about. And he
Catch
just
you
walks out. Now, what did I say his name was?
Joe Slowly.
Right, okay.
Is this? He was a throwaway character that I've now turned into a thing.
No.
Be that.
So yeah, and then
I guess I'm not the only one who collects NPCs.
Yep. Alrighty, so no, I just have to ask because my short-term memory is utter trash, which is a good trait in a GM, I hear, because the party can just say, "Yeah, of course, you offered us 100 gold for this quest."
So much gold.
Anywho, so Adele, can you roll me a fizz roll, please? Cool.
Finally, a semi-decent roll.
Semi-decent. You
correct
rolled
for
the
what
most
you
you
would
can roll. You physically can't.
As I said, semi-decent.
You physically can't roll higher. Mad lad. Oh, and by the way, if it wasn't obvious, everybody has gained their fizz back in health.
have we got our feet points back as well?
Yeah. Everybody's at 3 feet points
Neat.
because you've been resting.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's now later into the evening. Are you guys staying up? Are you going to bed?
Yeah, let's have a rest before we go back in the morning, unless anyone's on a.
Constantine is very, very into this book.
Yes, but you also didn't sleep last night.
Right, Constantine's going to go to bed.
Yeah.
You shall also sleep.
Baldassar's
Adele is
already
having
in bed.
Night shivers. Night shivers, then nightmares, which he's allowing his companion to see.
She can't see them. She says, "I know you're trying to show me something, but I can't see it." Because she'd have heard you say, "I'm going to show you this," and no, she can't hear it. Anyway, so Colin, can I have another fizz roll, please? Brilliant. Okay. So, as morning breaks, it's now 6 o'clock in the morning. You all awaken to the smell of a cooked breakfast wafting up through the inn, up to your bedrooms. Adele, you wake up feeling somewhat more yourself. The fever has broken, and the headaches are gone. You feel all right. Don't all speak at once.
Excellent. Are we going to head back to the island then? the islands.
Yeah, you can do.
First.
Yeah,
Where-
breakfast first.
Yeah, breakfast first.
And discuss plans while eating breakfast.
Okay, so you walk downstairs and you see that the serving girl that works at the inn has already laid out places at the tables for you. And as you sit down, she brings over plates of cooked sausages, beans, slices of toasted loaf, and blood pudding.
Murder will dig in with gusto.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly the blood pudding. Everyone likes a bit of blood pudding.
A meal that he's not liked. So.
Good indeed. Balasar
Oh,
tucks in
I'm
also.
going to poke at it a bit first, just to check it's 100%. I was going to say kosher then, but I don't mean kosher. It's, you know, it's
Not
up to
poison.
scratch. And then he's going to dig in.
So what did you
Adele's
guys
going
want to
to
discuss?
stumble down the stairs, and he's going to look at the place of food, and then he's going to turn to the serving girl and ask, "Are there any eggs?"
She says, certainly. How would you like your eggs?
Poached? Do you do poached eggs?
We can. I'll bring
Wonderful.
them
Thank
over
you.
to you in 5 minutes.
Wonderful. 3 if you don't mind.
Anything else?
What kind of wines do you have?
We have red or white.
Never mind, actually. I probably shouldn't drink with breakfast. Thank you.
I hope at least one of you got that.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, I know it's a comment. I know it's a quote from something, but I can't remember.
It's hot fuzz.
Ah, yes. Anyway,
The response is, I'll have a lager then. Right, so you guys said you wanted to discuss stuff over breakfast.
fishing today, is it, lads?
I imagine so, but are we going to discuss the consequences of what happened last night? Or yesterday morning? Or...
Seemed a little ominous.
Perhaps this isn't the best place to discuss such matters. Maybe somewhere more private.
That is not a bad call. Right, so if we head back to base, we'll see how Mac is doing with the device,
Mm-hmm.
and go from there once we're finished here.
Balasar says, plenty of time to talk while we're on the road.
That's true as well, but we never know who's going to be listening on the road. Do we really think this is something that will be that sensitive, Gerald?
You're the captain.
And I'm asking your advice.
I'm still not feeling 100%. I defer all judgments to you.
Anyone else think that it's a bad idea to discuss on the road?
Fine. There can't be spies everywhere, can there?
No, I don't think there are. Okay, so we finish up here and then we can discuss moving forward what to do.
Good. So, finishing up your breakfasts, you find that one of the guards, you recognise it as Francois, has actually collected your cart that you guys left at the manor, and he said, we stabled your horse for you last night. I figured, I saw you guys come down for breakfast and I figured you'd probably be off. Didn't figure you'd want to stay in a one horse little hamlet like this.
No, there's nothing to keep us here. Thank you for looking after our horses. Or having our horses looked after.
You're welcome, sir.
No one's called me sir for quite a while.
Well, you know, I recognise that you're a man of rank, and to be frank, you guys saved my life.
We all saved each other's lives.
He starts fiddling, holding his guard helmet in his hands, fiddling with it nervously. And he goes kind of quiet.
Go on, lad. What have you got to say?
I want to come with you.
Oh, how wonderful. I was just about to inquire if perhaps you wanted to enlist with us. Seeing as we worked so well together.
Well, it's
And
just...
what's your name, young man?
It's just... I could have died last night. I could have died for a pittance. My family would have never really gotten anything, and I just don't feel that we were as valued as we should have been. Does that make sense?
It certainly makes sense, but you'll be no safer with us than you would be in the guard.
I don't know. You guys handled those things pretty well.
Well, we do have a little bit of experience with those things, but again, our life is not an easy one.
Yeah, but if I can learn to fight like you lot, then I'll have a better chance.
What's your weapon of choice?
Well, they gave me this sword and this pistol.
Well, that's a
It's the only
start.
thing. It's the only thing I've ever trained with, really.
And what's your name?
Francois.
Whereabouts are you from, Francois?
Oh, originally Lale, but I moved over here as as part of as a refugee, sir, because
As he says,
he looks quite troubled as he says, well, after what your people did. No offence,
they're not
sir.
my people anymore.
Well, I figured as much, seeing as you hang out with him, and he points towards Adele. So I figured there'd be no bad blood.
What you have to understand is that my people don't take very well to mercenaries. Mercenaries are treated lower than the Winter Guard, and I left the Winter Guard to become a mercenary. So
I figure you have a good reason then.
Oh, I had a very good reason, but now's not the time. If you would like to join us, then we welcome all souls, but you have to understand that it's not an easy life, and you'll have to at least, in part, pay your own way.
Well, I can certainly do that. I mean, I can fight. I can keep watch. I mean, that's what I've been trained to do.
And what would you like from us?
Just somewhere to feel valued, like I'm making a difference in the world.
That's very much
Adele
how I
turns
perceive it.
to Constantine and he says in Laelese, "Look, sir, if we consider our current headquarters, we have Mac and we have Mograt. Having another soul on duty there might not go amiss."
Oh no, I agree. I think it would be a benefit to us to have this young chap. Gesture at Francois. I'm speaking Laelese, and I'm checking to see if he can understand what we're saying.
He can totally understand what you're saying.
Okay. I'm totally in favour of having Francois here, and then I'm going to switch back to Order. I just want him to be aware of the dangers that adopting our lifestyle might mean for him, and it might not be a case of the grass being greener.
He says, I understand that, sir. I really do. Especially
Well,
given what happened last night.
If you're aware of the risks, we are happy to have you.
I feel a sense of responsibility that I've got to do something.
I'd like to kind of check out and see if he's being sincere.
Yep, go for it.
So what would that be? Detection?
Yep. You think he's sincere and possibly somewhat a little naive, but sincere nonetheless.
Okay, I'm going to proffer my hand for him and say, "Welcome to the Grey Lanterns," and see if he takes it.
He takes your hand firmly and meets your eye and shakes it. And says, "Thank you, sir. I won't let you down."
Well,
One
I
of the
hope you don't
family
let
now,
me
boy.
Hmm?
Sorry, two of us tote. Go on, David, you first.
down. Because I say, I hope we don't let you down either.
Murder adds afterwards, welcome to the family, boy.
He shakes your hand too.
gives him a hearty slap on the back and starts, now listen, let me tell you a thing or two about soldiering, and starts going into some ridiculous story about Signarin boot camp.
So as Justin's talking to him, you guys, Balasar starts the horses going. Adele, he has already helped into the back of the wagon. Justin and Francois walk behind, talking, and he's questioning you about your time in the military and asking you about what conflicts you served in and stuff like that. Just gonna make
All the very, very exaggerated stories.
just making a quick roll. So you managed to get back to Five Fingers with no incident, and you make your way to the Grey Lanterns HQ.
Where's Francois?
Well, I have to put him on the map. So he's here now. And
Everything's not on fire, so that's something.
Also, out of character, I do hope Francois is not the bait
bait for what?
for the fish.
Oh, right. I haven't even considered that. Right, so as you come back in, Mac looks at you guys, who are all looking a bit weary at this point, and he says, "Ah, you guys are back, eh? Alrighty. I finished up what you asked me for. Right, all you have to do is," and he talks through the timer that he's put on the thing. He goes, "So all you have to do is start this piece of clockwork here by pulling this pin out. You've got to wind it first. You pull the pin out, and you've got 10 seconds, and then it will go up with the biggest bang you've ever seen. Well, maybe not you, Justin. You might have seen bigger bangs. Well, and you, boss, you might have seen bigger bangs too. But the rest of you, you've probably never seen a bigger bang."
Thank you, Mac. This work seems immaculate.
He goes, "Well, I did what I could with what you gave me, and if nothing, it'll be flashy."
Excellent. Right. How are we going to turn to everyone and say, how are we going to bait this hook?
Well, why don't we find a fishing boat? After all, it seems to go for people on fishing boats. Oh, Mac, this is Francois, a son of Lael. He's come here to stand watch and be one of us. Do make him welcome, will you? And Francois, you should watch out for Mograt. He will help you out too. It might take a few times to explain.
Mac looks at him and says, when he says Mograt will help you, just don't eat the soup. Balasar at this point says, "Well, if you're baiting the thing, I suggest maybe we put it inside something."
I was thinking a cow. We could buy a cow. We could hollow it out.
I mean,
But where are we going to get a cow from?
The market, obviously. I'm sure someone
What about
sells
the
cows.
mainland?
Balasar says Slaughterhouse District would probably be the best place.
Right. Should
But
we
then you've got to
that
get it
at the
in the
garden?
water.
Yeah, but what you do is you cut it open, you empty it out, then we get a load of rations out of the damn thing. We put this inside it. Oh wait, we need to turn the pin. Shit.
Mac, is there a way of putting this on an extended timer? Hello?
He's busy fixing something else and is thoroughly engrossed in his work.
Could we attach something like a chain to the pin?
Max says, "Yeah, that'd probably work."
Okay, so we can put
You
iron
just
on.
if you're trying to put it down that big fish's throat, the one you told me about, you're probably going to need a way to get it in the water carefully. I mean, just a bit of advice: don't drop the bomb.
So, like a crane or something.
I was
Crane
going
would-
to say
Crane
we
would
should
do it.
speak to Vab. Vab might be able to help us.
Yeah, that's probably our best bet. But we need to get this carcass from the meat district first, and we need to set the bomb up and not ready.
What about
This thing's going to smell, isn't it?
Hodgepodge? He could carry the carcass and set it into the water.
I'm not taking a warjack on a boat. That is a.
I kind
Well.
of point to the two trolls and go, they're strong.
Well, all right. If you're okay with them handling slaughtered meat,
I
You
mean,
alright with that, boys?
It's a question of whether they are comfortable handling slaughtered meat.
I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure he's killed and skinned his fair amount.
Yeah, that's quite true.
I think you guys have witnessed me killing skin things.
I mean,
Yeah.
we both did, didn't we? Remember those wolves?
In fact, would that area be the best place to sell wolf pelts?
Balasar, who has lived in the city his entire life, says, yeah, there's sure to be a tannery or somebody that would potentially buy hides from us.
Right. Well, I'm happy with that particular course of action.
I mean, are we taking all 5?
Buying a cow kind of is going to be a case of you give them however much they ask for. So, right, what we want is we want someone to go and help deal with the cow. We want someone to do the tannery stuff. We want to get together, and then we want to get over to. We decided on Vab, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, sell the hide, buy the cow.
I will go to Vab, and someone can come along with me. We can pair off. Why don't you two trolls go to the slaughterhouse, and maybe Sir Captain and Mr. Murtaugh can go and sell the hides.
Balasar informs you that the tannery is located adjacent to the slaughterhouse district because of logistics. Because,
in that case,
because
why
the
don't
cows
you
that
come
get
along with me,
slaughtered,
then?
the cows that get slaughtered would then have various parts sold to the tanneries, because that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you could all go together, except for whoever's going to the scrapyard.
Mr. Murtaugh, would you like to come to the scrapyard with me? Or how about you, Jostin?
Not fine with either.
Well, we need Justin to carry the carcass.
Balasar
Well-
looks at you guys and goes, "Why don't we put the dead cow in the back of the cart?"
That is a really good point, and we are all really stupid. It is great that we have your common sense approach with us, my friend.
Makes too much sense then.
Balasar says, "Well, I figured we were putting the bomb in the cart as it is, because I ain't carrying it."
It's not wrong.
He says, "I like you guys, but I don't like you that much."
Well, maybe we should all just go together and then we could go to Vabs together.
Yeah, let's all go together.
Alright.
Friendship.
It's magic.
It sure is. It sure is. So, you make it to the tannery and slaughterhouse district on Captain's Island. You can actually hear the cows. Relatively distressed because, you know, they're stood outside a slaughterhouse and the smell of it. To anyone that knows anything about slaughterhouses, there is a single goat. I don't know if you guys know what the goat's job is, but it looks like the happiest goat you've ever seen. Do you guys know about the goat?
Nope.
No.
This might be wrong, but in the olden days, slaughterhouses would always have one animal, often a goat, that was quite well fed and very happy and lived at the slaughterhouse. And they used it to lead other animals in because the other animals would be like, oh, that animal doesn't seem distressed.
Yeah, it was called a Judas goat.
There we go. See, I'm not the only one.
Yeah, it was called a Judas goat.
Yeah.
And now you said Judas Goat, yes, I know entirely what you're talking about. Which is weird, because it's normally I know the concept but not the name. This one is like, until you said the name, it was like, what? But yeah.
Judas goat. Right, okay. Justin, you were the one who skinned him. Do you want to go and sell him?
My skills in negotiation aren't that great, but sure.
Sorry.
Murtar, go with him.
Right, so, we're going to take our various dire wolf pelts
Okay.
and go and try... Dusk wolf, not dire wolf. I am getting confused with D&D.
Yes. They're like
Wrong fantasy
wolves,
setting.
but dire.
So, yeah. So, let's have a saunter over to the tanneries and see what we can do about selling these skins then, shall we, Justin?
Seems good.
So sorry, Karen.
Sorry. As we're going over, can Justin have a look at them to kind of see if he can work out how much he'd sell them for? Because Murder has no clue, and if I don't know how much they're worth, I'm not going to be able to get a good deal.
That'd be like a survival? Or...
Justin thinks that you'd probably get about 5 gold for the lot of them.
Fair enough. No need to roll there from the sounds of it, JP.
Yep.
Cool. So, 5 gold for the lot of them. That's actually not a terrible amount for the amount of work we did to get them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. So, we basically go into a tannery and try and sell them, I guess.
So as you approach the tannery, the acrid smell of the processes fills your nostrils. It's quite unpleasant. The people working around the building seem completely oblivious to this.
Well, a lot of people who work in tanneries end up getting a nosmic.
Yep.
So that makes sense.
Well, I'm just trying to add the little details, you know.
Yeah, it's fun.
A bloke sees you guys walking in with pelts and approaches you and says, "Selling?"
Selling.
Alrighty, what have you got here then?
I look at you.
Some sort of a predator animal?
Yeah.
Fight, but well, couldn't just leave fine pelt like this, leaving to rot in the woods, could we?
Bloke looks at you, eyebrows raised, and says, "You killed these?" Wow.
Not just me, but yeah.
These aren't small. Okay. Well, he looks over the pelts. Some of them are a bit beat up. I mean, this one's got a giant, great big hole in it.
Well,
But these two seem pretty
the
good.
best kind of kill is overkill. Not great if you're. If
Well, I take
planning to sell them, I would have used a smaller caliber, but well.
Well, I take it they didn't go willingly.
Bit of a fight. Yeah.
Fair enough. I could probably offer you 3 gold for them.
I kind of smile at him and go on, mate, you know they're worth 6.
We only have a certain amount of budget for buying.
What about an exchange of goods?
Such as?
Well, we're a company that could do with some good leather. I'm sure you can make some good leather out of this. So you get raw materials, we get some of the stuff that's prepared.
Well, I
Means
mean,
we can get.
I can't really turn these into leather. These would be more, sold for your fur of your edge of a cloak or maybe a rug. But I can trade them for leather, sure.
Coincidentally, guys, just to make sure I check in with the group. Basically, the idea for this is kind of getting us some gun braces and ammo bandoliers for the people that don't have them.
I mean, anyone that has craft leather working would be able to do that.
Yeah, which I am hoping that our resident gobber has.
He does not.
Ah, right. But we wouldn't know that without asking him.
Yep. But there's nothing to stop any of you taking that.
Yeah.
So he actually gives you 6 gold's worth of leather.
Neat. Everyone happy with that, boys, or have I...
Fine by me.
Yeah, fine by me.
I mean, technically, only Justin's there to agree with you.
Yeah.
You're the treasurer. You
Yep.
handle the finances.
So Constantine, Adele, and Balasar are in the slaughterhouse. Somebody comes over to you and says, "Can I help you out, guys?"
Yes, I'm looking to purchase a cow. These are my associates.
Dead or alive?
Well, now that is a good question. And I turn and I look at Balasar, and I raise an eyebrow.
He
For the feast we're
drags a
planning-
finger across his throat.
Oh, very well then. Yes, I think dead might be best.
Okay, dead's cheaper.
Oh, wonderful.
I can sell you. I can sell you a cow for the standard rate, 3 gold.
Can you do it for 2?
No, the standard rate's 3.
Well, what if we were to purchase 2 cows? Do you think that you could make us a slightly better offer than 3 gold? Maybe we could buy both for, shall we say, 4?
No, I can
gold,
do
4.5?
both for 5, but that's it.
And I turn to Constantine and I say in Laelies, what about a fresh supply of milk? If we were to get a milking cow, we could keep it at base in the stables. Might take care of some of our rations.
We've just asked for 2 dead cows. Dead cows won't get it.
Yes. That's true. We could negotiate for a live cow, I suppose.
Look, let's just get the 1 cow we need. If it's 3 gold, it's 3 gold.
Also, I
Very
don't
well.
want to lead you down a merry chase, but if you did buy a live cow, you wouldn't be buying a cow that can give milk, because like a cow that could give milk
Waterhouse.
would not be at a slaughterhouse.
I know that as a person, but Adele is...
Yeah, but I'm just
Adele
trying
is
to
Adele.
not waste you guys' RP time.
Cool.
We'll get the 1 cow we need.
Yep. Okay. So the bloke says that'll be 3 gold then, please.
I'm going to pull 3 gold out of my pocket and give it to him.
Cool.
I'll take it out of the treasury thing. We'll just... You ask me when you get back, and yes, you get it.
He whistles at a couple of guys and says, "Loaded in the cart, I take it."
Yes, wonderful. Is there any way that we could have some kind of ground sheet on it? Do you supply those?
There's already 1 in your cart, mate.
Oh, wonderful. In that case, never mind.
Alrighty. So as the 2 workmen approach carrying this carcass, Balasar instructs them to put it in and says, "Careful, gentle now, boys, gentle." And they look a bit confused as to why he'd care so much about how they treat the body of a dead cow. They are unaware of, at the front of the cart, covered in a bit of the tarp, is the bomb. I'm just going to roll. Ooh, the cart jostles somewhat as they load the carcass in. Balasar, concerned about the bomb, climbs in to check on it. Turns round, looks at Constantine and gives him a thumbs up.
Excellent. Right, let's get the show on the road, as my father said to me. Used to
Right.
when I lived back in Walsall Landing. Wistfully look into the distance.
What a curious expression. Was he in showmanship?
The only showmanship he was interested in was corpses.
Maybe we should change topics.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
I'm sorry, Colin. It just entertains me that David said that, and then what we could hear was your kid laughing at it.
Yeah, well, the kid is being entertained by the puppy right now.
That's fantastic. Alrighty, so without further ado, you guys get on the road and pick up the other guys at the tannery just across the street, and then make haste across to Bellows Island. Sorry, I just had a brain fart. Murta, please deduct 1 silver from the coffers, please, for the bridge fee. And you approach the scrapyard.
Right. Is there any indication of the people who were causing Vab trouble previously being around?
No.
Excellent. So let's wander up to the front gate and see if it's open.
It is. You enter through the front gate.
And wander up to the office and see if the
Vab is, as last time you came, tinkering with Tin Boy.
Okay.
She spots you as you come around the corner of the building, and she says, "Boys, my boys, good to see you."
Hello, Vab. How are you?
Better. Managed to fix up the boat after that thrashing that beast did to it.
I hope that didn't do too much. That didn't cost you too much.
No, I fixed it up with mainly what I already had.
I see you've left your dead where they fell.
No, he's gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Be pretty screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just leave my dead brother lying in a trash heap.
No, he's gone.
How would you like to get revenge on the big fish that did this to you?
Revenge, you say?
Rwenge. Oh, murder.
What's
see,
what's on your mind?
We have a spot of fishing to do, and we thought that perhaps you might be interested.
Oh, you guys have been foolhardy enough to accept the Merrick Boys' bounty, huh?
Well, you know, making a name for ourselves, avenging our friends.
And I guess you want to use my
brothers.
boat to do it.
Well, we thought that since you suffered personal losses, we should come to you first.
Won't be anything to do with the fact that I've got a crane on this thing, huh?
What would you look
Well,
at that?
it does help somewhat, but no, you're our friend, and
Sorry, David, what are you saying?
Oh, don't worry.
Okay, go, Colin.
well, you're our friend, and as I said, you lost a family, so we wanted to offer you first dibs.
Well, I'll do it. I'll do it for sure. But you're going to have to compensate me. You understand?
Oh, absolutely. We're not savages.
So how much of that 200 gold are you going to give old Vab?
How much of
So,
that 200 gold does Old Rab think is fair?
Well,
well, she's the
realistic.
one asking for compensation, so it's really we should be the one putting that forward, I think. Unless you have a specific amount you're going to have her ask for that top.
Well, she was going to say, well, it's my boat, but what are your guys' thoughts?
Well, I was thinking that we split it several ways.
Mm-hmm.
There's several of us, and there's you and your boat.
Mm-hmm. And how many shares
think-
do you think me and my boat deserve?
4?
4 shares.
What do you think?
Right, so to put the maths on the table, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us, including Balazar, her and her boat. That would be 7. 200 doesn't divide into 7, but if we call it 210 because of, well, call it 190 because we've already had to put in the thing for the bomb, but we'll kind of round that up a bit to, what's the best way to divide that by? 7. 210 minus 14 is 100. I am sorry, I have just realised I am being super picky about this.
Carry the 3.
Yeah, I'm going to suggest that I will kind of I will check with the captain, and I assume that we talked about it on the way over.
Yes.
Our costs thus far have been about 25 gold, including time spent. That means each of our shares is worth 25 because 175 divided by 25 is 7.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was...
No, I mean,
over
like,
25.
how do you figure the costs so far?
Well, we've got the bomb, we've got the
But how much
cow.
did the bomb cost you?
10.
The
Yeah.
bomb was 10, the cow was 3, which is 13.
Yeah.
But we've also got time spent. We're the ones that came up with the plan. We're the ones that went and got the...
Yeah, but how are you putting a gold figure on that?
Right, David was using some hand waving to round the
Right,
figures
okay.
off, I think. But basically, I was going to say 50 gold to her because I would say 25, but it is her boat, so that would be 50, which
Yeah.
Negotiation roll, please.
Okay, I'll make it.
there is a way to do an assisted roll.
Yep, which is both of...
Let me do the coaching.
Assisted rolls are anyone that wants to assist can roll, and if you beat the target number, then you add +1 to the lead person who is declared the lead person. So declare a lead person, and then everybody who wants to assist rolls. Right, so David is assisting.
No, I'm leading.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Oh, you boosted it.
No, it's auto boosted because it's perception.
All right. Well, negotiation is a social role, so it's not... All right. Okay.
That's it's one of the interesting ones it's why I quite often ask the DM what they would like me to roll, unless I've got a reason to give a different one.
Yeah.
So for myself, it's Murta will generally look at body language and see how far he can push things, which is why I use perception.
Yep.
But I've also...
You could use intellect, you could use...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also never going to get something like hyper-perception or genius. So...
Anywho, she looks at you guys and says, I like you boys. You boys have done right by me before. I think we can do this. What's the plan?
Right. Okay, so, can I do a big reveal? Or
Yeah, of course.
set the bomb off?
No, that won't reveal.
Okay, so as you might have noticed in the cart behind us that we brought here today, we have a carcass.
She said, "Yeah, I can smell it."
Okay, and next to the carcass, you might have noticed this mysterious device. And then I'm going to pull the tarpaulin off the top of the.
She rushes past you and clambers onto the cart and starts poring over the thing, looking at it, probing it with one of her tools, and investigating it.
Don't push it too hard.
Very animatedly and excited.
Yeah, and Mercer's like, don't move it too hard. Our guy said it might blow up if you push it too hard.
She says, "Who made this? This is good work."
That would be our resident mechanic, and he's also wanted, I believe, a supply of scrap, some kind of metal we were supposed to find out about. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Murtaugh?
Absolutely. So that is absolutely a contract that we could have a chat about once this is resolved. And you know us, we like you, you like us. It's a very good thing we got going on. So
well,
it'd be really good to just.
So you guys want me to supply you with sheet metal, I guess?
Yeah, that would be good.
Well, if that's the case, and you want to set up a contract with me to provide you sheet metal on a regular basis, and you want me to do this for you as well, well, I guess you're throwing business my way when it comes to me selling you scrap metal. So I guess I'll do this. I'll take 50 of the pot, and we can sort out something when we get back with regards to the sheet metal. But it should be no problem because I've got people that can deliver it to you, so it can just be delivered to where you live whenever you need, really. So just, yeah, that'll be good. Are you guys looking to go out in the water now? Because the tide's about right.
Yes, that was the plan, and wonderful, wonderful. As I said, you're a good friend, and we like to, what is the phrase? Someone else. What is it about staying close with friends and all of that?
Not appropriate to this situation, my friend.
What? Oh, for the love of... No. What is with you and all of your innuendos?
That's not at all what I meant.
Don't shit where you eat. What?
Yes, I think that's the one, or something. Anyway, shall we catch the tide?
There's not a lot of shitting involved, but to each their own, I guess.
Yeah. Adele hears Ruby's voice say, "What are you talking about?"
That's where idiots.
So you get on to Vab's. Sorry?
So Vab, do we have an accord?
She says,
"We do because we're on your boat."
Yeah. You certainly are.
5:10 at the moment, boys.
Yep, so before we actually do this scene, we will be taking a break. We'll do it a little bit early today because it makes sense. 5 to 10. Good call. So we will be taking a break, people watching on the stream and people watching on YouTube later. Our breaks are billed at 15 minutes, but typically are less than that, and there's usually people in the chat chatting away anyway. I know I will be after I've been and done my business. I take this moment to just remind everybody, please click follow if you're watching on Twitch. Click like or subscribe on YouTube. It does make a difference for us. And if you enjoy our content, please consider supporting my Patreon. There is a link in the Doobly Blitz. Other than that, the Grey Lanterns are proudly sponsored by Crucible Guard gunpowder. Crucible Guard gunpowder is considered the finest gunpowder in all of Western Imran. Bake it away, toys. That's you lot. Okie dokie. I'm just going to go.
Sorry. No, it's all good, dude.
I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. So, who's staying with me?
Lonely. Right, I want you to
Absolutely.
monologue for the entire time I'm away.
Monologuing. I can monologue.
And the thing is, I can watch the stream afterwards and find out if you did or not.
Yeah.
This could
so,
get you a feat point or some bullshit.
monologuing in terms of murder or just random chit.
I'll leave it to you. I'll be back in a bit.
Right, well, I will monologue then. But I think I'll monologue as me because Murta's a bit crazy. So, boys and girls, most of you, I assume, play War Machine. So I've been using Wartable in the last couple of weeks, which is great. It is fantastic. I've mostly been testing out a new faction. I know previously on the stream I've talked a lot about my Scorn. But I've decided recently that I want a bit of a change, and have been picking up my Kador, which I've not played since Mark II. The Doom Reavers list with Old Witch is my favourite at the moment, using 5 units of Reavers, and all of the various Grey Lord gubbins. They're quite fun. I'm really enjoying the Grey Lord gubbins.
They made that so much better, didn't they?
Oh, they did. And now I don't have to monologue anymore. Woo. But no, it's great. It's Grey Lords are really a lot of fun. I've been having so much more fun with them than I expected. It's kind of making me think I should play the Zakova 2 Grey Lords list.
That is my favourite list. Like, my absolute favourite list. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's I think a lot of people when they first pick that list up, they go, "Oh, what does this do? Oh, top of 2 assassination, brilliant." But it's so much deeper than that, and it does so much more than that. And I can't remember who it was, but one of the big names, played a version of Zakova 2 with 3 units of Reavers that I really like. I think that's got a real good sweet point between having the assassination potential and the infantry clearing, and being able to, chop stuff up. And I played into Crucible Guard, which is supposed to be a really bad matchup for Kador, and I had the 3 Reaver list into Crucible Guard, into Locke, who I think is the strongest Crucible Guard caster, into that list, and everything worked really well. I was really impressed with how that list functions, especially when 2 Doom Reavers take down a Warjack, a Toro from full health to nothing.
Oof.
I was particularly impressed with that.
Some dice rolls right there.
I have a quick question for you.
Yeah, go on.
When you guys got back, was Alan just talking to himself?
I thought he was talking about Doom Reavers to someone.
No, I was just talking into the chat about how I'd been playing Kador on Wartable.
Brilliant. Okay. It's just when I left.
just let you monologue.
Yeah, when I left, I said to him if he monologued for the entire time I was gone, he could have a bonus. So.
Nice.
Monologuing when I got back.
Well, I just wanted the chat to be entertained while I was gone, so.
I approve.
He went for it. So I'm gonna say. I'm going to be like a judge in an old cartoon. I'm going to allow this. So
Allow it.
Something will happen.
That was MTV Celebrity Deathmatch, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, the version of it that I'm most familiar with is Senior Chang from Community.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. So that will come up. So is everybody back and happy to continue, or do you need a longer break?
I'm good with whatever.
I'm good for now.
Okay. I just am made aware myself that Balasar is not on the boat.
These are BA rockets, except it's boats instead of airplanes.
So Balasar is here.
Excellent.
Are you getting on no airplane, Hannibal?
And they gave him milk.
Yeah, with drugs in it.
Well, there's two ways.
Definitely no long-term effects from that.
There was actually two theories on it. One was the milk with drugs in it. The other was it was alcohol, but because it was on before certain times of day, they couldn't do alcohol.
That's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good.
It was a very tall white Russian.
I just realised I did start that sentence with the words. Well, actually.
I told you.
Actually,
I do notice these things. Right, so sailing out into the channel.
yo-ho.
You have the cow carcass with bomb inside, in the grip of the crane. Who wants to man the crane's controls?
What goes into
Just some levers.
I'll pull levers, why not?
You surprised me. I thought you wanted to shoot the thing.
I mean, I do. But, I don't know, man. If somebody else wants to, so I can shoot at things, that's fine,
Like-
too.
Like, who's got the best? I mean, Murtaugh, you don't have to jump in now, and you've got a rifle.
Yeah.
So,
There is literally only one person here who can't shoot it.
and Adele's the only person that. Balasar, why don't you use the crane?
All right then. I mean, you're talking about your fancy gun, but I can throw one of these, and he hefts one of his throwing axes.
I think we're good.
Just throw an axe into the river. That's going to be helpful. Okay, so he's going to stand over by the controls.
And while that's happening, Murta is going to ask Justin if he can have a look at the zoomy thing on the gun.
Alrighty. So while you're doing this, I'm just going to let you know what you can see. So it's a relatively calm day out on the river. So the cow carcass that's hanging from the crane with the bomb secured inside has a length of rope hanging out of it that is attached to a little tying point on the side of the rope, side of the boat, about here. And you guys had made sure that it was fully winded before you put the pin in, and it's as ready to go as you can imagine. Balasar looks to you and goes, do you want me to lower it?
Are we?
Like, are we far enough out? Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, you're in a similar sort of area that it attacked you last time.
Yeah, let's lower it and let's wait.
Alright. I'll make an untrained mechanical engineering roll.
What?
He raises
None
the
of us
crane.
had it.
Yeah, he raises the crane a foot, swears, and then lowers the crane into the water. He rolled pretty bad. Yeah, so he raised the crane about a foot, swears, and then lowers the crane. The cow slipped beneath the water, and you see a few bubbles bloop to the surface as gases that were in the carcass when you hauled it out and put the bomb in.
Alright, gentlemen, lock and load.
Yep.
And now we wait.
Gonna get to the back of the boat.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
kind
feel
of
free
like-
to move about the boat and go to positions that you would choose to be in.
Gonna pay attention to how I was taught to shoot, and I'm gonna kind of like go prone, so I'm lying
Yep.
down on the deck and rest my gun. Well, go as low as I can and rest my gun on the balustrade.
Cool. Okay, so anyone else moving about?
Alright, I'm going to go and stand next to Murtaugh.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to draw both of my hand cannons. Oh, my hand cannon and my head cannon.
Adele, are you moving about?
It's probably coming from that side.
No, I'm happy where I am.
By the way, the boat is currently heading west towards the sea. Because you initially would have been heading south, then south west, then southwest, and then just west.
So, kind of leaning against the banister. While I'm there, I am kind of gonna have, while still paying attention to the water, so I'm aware that's probably a big penalty. I am gonna kind of poke through the piles of rubbish for the scope-looking thing, for the scope I've seen on Justin's rifle.
Oh, so you're looking for a scope in the piles of trash?
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
I'm
Roll.
aware this is probably a terrible idea. But...
Yep, roll detection.
Cool.
So you don't find a scope. 1 second. Locations, Crane Island. No, not Crane Island. What am I doing? Bellows Island. I just need to pull up the rule book. This is the first time opening the rule book today. Just letting you know. You find a small bag.
Okay.
Small leather bag. Would you like to open it?
I would.
Okay.
Full of bees!
Inside the bag are some grenades.
Ooh.
There are 3 grenades in there.
I look at them slightly bankily and go, "Boss," and show him them.
Vab, still steering the ship, is stood right near you, and she looks over her shoulder and says, "I'll start a tab, shall I?"
Always an idea when we're on your boat, I think.
She nods and gets back to steering. A few seconds passed, and then a loud mechanical grindy noise comes from the engines of the ship, and she swears in a language that none of you understand.
But understand well enough to know that it's swearing.
Oh, well, common sense. She's speaking Gobberish, and she shouts something at her brother, who pulls out a wrench and starts fiddling with the engines. So, brilliant. That's good. Alrighty. So, detection rolls, everyone, please. I'm basing this based on your locations, so your locations are giving you a modifier, basically.
Damn, I rolled well on those detection rolls. That's different.
Yep. So Adele, you see nothing. Constantine, you see nothing. Murta, you see nothing. Justin, off the well, for you're not nautical, so off the right hand side of the ship, you notice a wake in the water.
Over here!
Nah, 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 nah.
You can't move that quick, dude. Yeah. You just like instant teleport. No, you're back where you were, dude. You're back where you were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't know how to do instant transmission yet. We're not that far into the arc.
No, you guys are not quite into your teleportation powers yet. Right, so roll initiative for me, fellows.
Right, okay.
Oh my god, seriously.
What?
Yeah, it's just I think I've rolled a 7 once on my initiative roll, and everyone else has been below. It's just this is becoming a meme at this point.
Mr. Plus 19 to initiative over here. All of us plebs that have like 14s and 15s.
I was actually telling a mate about it the other day, where it's like, I've got this initiative, the rest of the party have this, and he was like, oh, so you always go first? And I'm like, no, quite often second or third.
Roll like trash.
Oh my god.
So the initiative tracker has got everybody except Adele, I'm guessing, because that is the tradition.
Indeed.
Adele add. Adele give a 22 turn, and then descending order. So the whole grinder goes first because it's a speedy boy, apparently.
Gotta go fast.
Well, I'm just going to check its stats because I've completely forgotten them. Oh, right. It's actually not actually got that good an initiative.
It just rolled a 5 and a 6.
Yeah. Because it's a boss. Alrighty. So its move was to move where it is. That is what I'm counting as its turn this turn. Murta, it is your turn.
I am actually just going to set up and prop again and aim ready, and I'm going to aim where the cow carcass is and hope it just goes near it.
So are you deferring your action or are you just waiting? So are you
just
spending your turn to just sit there, or are you delaying your turn order?
Spending my action to. There isn't an Overwatch action.
There is not.
Unfortunately,
There is a
Overwatch-
ability
otherwise I'd do
called what's it called?
Sentry? No. That's the spell.
No, there isn't. There is a soldier ability, I believe it's called. Yeah, Sentry. You basically get to shoot at something that moves into your line of sight once per turn.
that.
The only campaign I was ever a player in, the GM always ruled, "Oh no, you didn't spot him, so you can't use that ability." And I was like,
Well, the white I take it.
"Yeah." Okay, so you're just not doing anything. That's fine.
Can I aim ready for the next turn?
No,
Right, I wasn't.
no.
I'm never sure on
Balasar
that.
is going to continue holding the the crane's controls. Adele. If you're speaking, we can't hear you.
No, I'm right here. I am going to stay put and do nothing.
Okay. Vab is driving the boat. I just put the gobbers on the turn order just in case they're needed for something. Constantine, it is your turn, sir.
I'm going to run one. Hold on. That one, isn't it?
Remember that the patches are rough terrain.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
And then it would be rough terrain after that.
9, 10.
11.
Next one?
Well, no. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So to get to the square where your current arrowhead is 10 inches. So you've got so you can move one square after this.
To that?
So you'd be here, and then you can move one more square.
So I can move laterally?
Yep. Sure, that's fine.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, laterally is what I mean, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Orthogonally.
Yep, that's brilliant.
There we
Thank
go.
you. Alrighty. Justin, it's your turn, sir.
Well, I'm gonna aim at it and I'm gonna give it both fair.
So are you using your movement to aim? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So you, remember +2 to hit.
Yeah. Targeted roll.
Oh wow.
What, 11 damage with the +1?
Yeah. So you'd basically hit damage 30.
Yeah.
Remember to
Solid.
do your D3 damage.
Yep.
So that's 1 damage. 1 damage.
Well, no, I rolled it as a D3.
Oh right. Sorry.
So 2 to my 6.
Okay. Cool. So it takes 11 damage.
Solid. That's me.
Blood in the water.
Okay. Cool. Brilliant.
I think I got it in the eye.
Aye.
Alrighty. So next is the Hole Grinder. And this mighty fish of the deep is going to wait for me to check out what its actual fucking stats are.
Is it weird that when you said that, what I actually thought you said was Crime Buster of the Sea?
Well, we can call it Sharky or George, if you so wish. And for all of you that aren't 90s kids, it was a 4 a.m. cartoon. It was really on in the morning, wasn't it? So this this Hole Grinder swims through the water at alarming speed, slamming into the hull of the ship, sending the whole ship rocking. Everyone take an agility roll, please.
Oh no.
And it's you see blood and viscera in the water as it bites the bomb laden cow.
Hey, I'm really sorry. I have to be right back in a second. Would you mind doing my agility roll for me?
Yeah, sure, not a problem, mate.
Cheers.
Absolutely no problem.
Justin rolled well.
Yeah. For the dude with 4 agility.
Well, 4 agility is pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it is pretty good, actually.
I guess I'm
Particularly
just
when you've
used
had
to looking at my strength.
I mean, Adele just rolled a 10.
Solid.
Yeah, it's like, again, like things that are involve me being fast. Average seems about as good as I can roll.
So I'm just
lucky they're high then.
Oh yeah, Balasar needs to make a roll as well. Sorry, my bad.
Since he's holding the controls, does he get a bonus because braced?
Nope.
Ah.
Well, yeah, actually, that does make sense.
Yeah.
That does make sense. El Goberino. They roll 3d6 because they're gobbers.
Gobbers are the best skill monkeys.
The gobber mechanic is absolutely totes my goats fine. And Vab is also fine. She just casually rolls a 20. She rolled a 664 with an agility of 4. Woof!
Solid.
And the other gobber rolled a 17, essentially.
Also, Vab's holding the wheel, so that precious bracing bonus.
Yeah. So she'd have rolled a 22 then. So once Colin is back, I will narrate what happens to him. Oh. Cackles.
Go ahead.
Cackles in GM. So as the ship rocks, everybody struggles to maintain their footing but manage it, except for Adele, who who slips and falls on the piles of scrap at his feet. Just as he's about to slip over the side, though. 1 second. Ah, beautiful. Can you guys see that roll that I just did?
1
Yeah.
The meaty hands of Balasar grab the back of his cloak. It rips, but manages to keep Adele on board.
So his cloak is even more ripped than it
It's
was.
even more ripped. Well, it was already structurally unsound, but it does manage to hold together enough to keep him on the boat, and he maintains his footing and is not knocked down. So
Bravo, Ballas.
there is a churning, like frothy mess of red and bubbles and all sorts of nonsense going on at the side of the boat next to the crane. Murta, what be ye doing?
So I'm going to shout to Balazar to pull the crane up, because that'll hopefully pull the pin out.
Okay.
And say to Vab that maybe she wants to start moving away from the big fish because we're about to try and set off the bomb.
Okay.
And then I'm going to try and aim and shoot at it.
You
some reason I
won't be
thought
able
the
to
cow
aim because you've been doing a lot of talking, so that would have taken up your quick action, so you can just shoot.
Cool. In which case, I'm going to move to a slightly better position on the boat, because for some reason I thought the cow would be dragging behind the boat.
No, it's off the side.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Again, just rest it against the balustrade. I know that doesn't actually give me anything. It's just
Sounds cool.
yeah. Well, it's how I picture it in my head. So targeted roll with my repeating rifle. Yes, first shot ever. It hits and does nothing. Pink.
So you only just managed to hit your target as the... because remember, it's in water, so it's got concealment.
Yeah, I know. But I also knew I had the Constantine bonus.
I know.
Which is good. But yeah, I hit it. Woo!
You actually
that
don't...
range.
Your character actually doesn't know that he didn't do any damage because it's underwater.
Yeah.
But he's
So-
celebrating anyway.
Balasar.
Oh, hang on. I've got skilled so I can fire again.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, 2 shots that didn't hurt it, but at least they hit.
But you don't know that.
Yep, Murta is celebrating.
Balasar manages to control the crane exceptionally well. The rope starts coming out of the water, and nothing comes with it. It's just a snapped off, frayed piece of rope.
Okay. So we've got no idea whether or not the bomb's actually going to go off.
Nope.
Brilliant.
Well, I mean, the rope that the bomb is attached to is attached to like a tying on point for like a mooring point here. So there's a mooring point here that's where the rope that was attached to the pin is just here. Okay?
Okay.
Adele, it is your turn.
Adele is going to try to anchor himself with his grapple by tying it to the side of the ship, the ship railing.
Okay. Sounds
And
good.
is that a whole action or a quick action?
We'll say a quick action.
Okay, and with his 2 remaining quick actions with Fast Caster, he's going to boost target and damage and try and shoot the fishy with bleed.
Yep.
Would you mind, Tom?
Boosted hit, boosted damage.
That's the one. Thank you.
Standard Adele.
Alrighty, so you don't do any damage on the first
Okay,
one.
I'd like to try again with the second.
Boosted
same as
hit, boosted
before,
damage.
please. That's the one.
This will put you at
That
8.
was really, really good roll to hit that first one.
The hit is like
Yep, so your spell slams into the side of the hole grinder. Obviously you can't see this because it's underwater. And does 6 damage to it.
But I would feel it, even though I'm at full health, because bleed transfers health back to me.
You would feel that it has done damage, yes.
Okay.
You would be aware of that.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's no problem.
Have you got a fast caster?
He's used 2.
And he's used the other action as well, yeah.
Yep, and he's at 8 threshold. You failed your roll.
I would like to use a feat point to re-roll that.
You failed it again.
I'm not going to spend a third feat point to try.
Well, you're on 2
that's
feet.
fine.
You're on 2 feet points and 1 soul at the minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Vab uses her action to shout to her brother, and she says, "Give it all you've got." And she pulls the lever next to her.
Your best shot.
Constantine, it's your turn, sir.
Can I see the fish from where I am?
Yeah, you can see the silhouette of it in the water, yeah.
Okay. So I don't need to move up to the edge of the boat.
Um,
Can I aim? Is my question.
yeah, of course.
Right, okay. I'm going to spend a feat point to do double fister. Which is not as dirty as it sounds.
What?
That means I can use both of my hand cannons to full effectiveness with no penalties for offhanded, but it costs me a feat point.
I mean, you'll still only be able to make 1 attack because you don't have skilled.
It effectively gives him 2 weapon fighting and ambidextrous.
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's me taking those abilities. If I was properly
Yeah, no worries.
optimizing, I
We
would
don't
have
need to. We it's all
Sorry.
good. It's all good, mate.
Yeah.
I don't want to draw it out. Just yes is fine. Yeah, so go for it, mate.
12 to roll. Hand cannon.
Yep. 1 second. Before you roll for the second gun, can you on the sheet click? There should be. Let me just check. I'm just checking your sheet, okay? Because I don't know how you set it up. Right. So on face cannon, can you see how where it says face cannon and then there's a black bump to the right and then there's 2 white bumps? Click the second white bump
Okay.
and then do the normal targeted roll, okay? Wow, your first damage roll was amazing, by the way.
Hold on. I think that second one I haven't. Oh no, I have.
You've done what?
No, it's all right. It's fine. I've. Yeah, no, that's right. That is what I was supposed to do.
What the heck?
Yeah, my first roll was amazing.
Yep. So, as you fire this head cannon, you get a real sense that was a very powerful shot. Like it was.
It was brutal.
Yes. Yes, it was a brutal shot.
Okay.
Alrighty.
So that's
I've already done it, mate.
6 from the first one and 2 from the second one. Is that right?
Yep, 6 from the first one, 2 from the second one.
Brilliant. And I'll take my feat point off. Just.
Yep. So Vab's brother is shoveling coal into the engine. Jostin, it's your turn, sir.
Free quick action from rapid reload to put 1 bullet in. One of my quick actions to put another.
Yep.
Then we'll. Sure, let's give it both barrels again.
Yeah.
Why the hell not?
Oh shit.
That'll barely hit.
Okay. So that's what, 9 damage?
9 damage.
Yeah.
I will take /R 1d3.
Roll another. Just do a 3d6 roll for me after you've done that.
Okay. So I'm taking 3 to my 6, so that hurts.
Yeah, then make a just a plain 3d6 roll for me, please.
3d6.
Yep. Okay.
11.
Brilliant. So your Raven Express rifle fires into the murky deep of the estuary and smacks true into the hull grinder. You hear a kind of soggy wet noise as it impacts into flesh, and then a split second later, a huge boom echoes through the water. The ship shakes, and a huge plume of water bursts from the surface up into the sky, tinted red with the viscera of the hull grinder and presumably a bit of the cow. Your bullet appears to have connected with the bomb in its mouth.
Yep,
And and the mighty beast is exploded from within. Various large chunks of it float
maniacally. Like,
various large chunks of it float to the surface.
And that's how it's done, comments Adele.
Balasar says we need to secure evidence that we killed it.
So
The thought had crossed my mind. Do you have any ideas?
Well, there's large chunks of it that I just narrated have floated to the surface.
we have a crane, or we can jump over and get it.
I don't mean that's Vab.
Vab has seen this and has motioned to her brother to power down the engines, now not fearing for their safety, but she shouts to him to check hull integrity below decks.
Good plan.
Well, an explosion just went off to the side of the ship, so you know.
Yeah. Let's hope it mostly hit fish.
Yeah.
Murder is going to wander over to Jostin and be like, "See, I hit it. Thanks, big man."
Up, kid.
Alrighty. So what are you guys doing? You're out of combat net time now, by the way.
Okay. Reload everything, set everything back up, stow everything.
Yep.
Can I move to the side of the ship and just see if I mean, is there anything on the side of the ship that might help me grab viscera from the...
There's some netting that's stowed at the edge of the ship.
Okay. I'm going to turn to Vab and say, can I use this? Let's see what she says.
She just nods at you and goes, "Yeah, go for it."
Okay, so I'm going to cast the net into the sea and try and collect teeth, bones, fins, viscera, whatever.
Yep, go for it.
What do I need to roll?
Roll a strength check to see how far and well you throw.
God.
I'll assist them?
I mean, you could throw your own net.
Sure. I'll do that then. I'll throw my own net.
Yep. So, Constantine's net comes back with a piece of fin. Jostin's net comes back with a big chunk of lower jawbone with one particularly large-looking, almost dagger-like tooth remaining in it.
Neat.
Adele is going to use his grapple pistol to spear a piece with spines on.
Roll to hit.
Okay.
You just make an untargeted roll. Anyone else, if you want to do anything, do it while he's...
Murta's off, just looking through various piles of stuff for basically things to like add to the rifle, because he hit something with it, so now it deserves to be upgraded, right?
Yep, fair enough. So, Adele, you find your pistol manages to spear a large chunk of fish flesh. Murta, you find some jagged metal.
I like jagged metal.
You
jagged
you
metal.
reasonably believe that you could attach it to the end of your rifle, and it would make it a stabby rifle.
Yeah. Is it big enough to put on Jostens?
No.
Not that big. Fair
No.
enough. Alright.
In
So,
fact,
I
when
put
I
it
say
in the
you
bag
think
with
you could, you mean... sorry, I meant to say you think Mac could.
Yeah. Fair enough.
All right.
I put it in the bag with the round circle things that no one has told me what they are yet, so I don't realise this is a terrible idea.
Well, you'd know they're grenades.
Would I?
Yeah.
Really? Cricks don't really use grenades.
Pirate cricks do.
Oh yeah, because they use normal pirates, don't they? That makes sense. Fair enough. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there's tons of living pirates. There's more living pirates than there are undead pirates.
Oh no, I was like thinking specifically the shard ones kind of use the deck sweepers.
Well, the war game ones just use deck sweepers, but
No,
I've watched a lot of Black Sails, and they tend to throw grenades into holds to clear them.
Yeah, I get it.
Cool.
it's
Alrighty.
cool.
So Vab walks over and looks at Justin approvingly, and says, "Pass that here, big man."
I pass it over.
And she nearly buckles under the weight of this jawbone, and
Well, there, don't cut yourself on it.
she pulls out a small metal ruler, mechanical ruler, and motions towards your rifle and says, "May I?"
I hand it over.
She doesn't take it from you, but she starts measuring up the front of your rifle, inquisitively, moving swiftly, her hands measuring all the different surfaces and shapes of the front of the Revan rifle, and she walks over to her brother, whispers, "Take the wheel," and disappears below decks.
Neat.
She's gone.
Neat. Okay, cool. I was actually like fully like, oh yeah, I'll give him a bayonet, and then DM one-ups me. In a good way.
I will probably continue like fishing out bits of.
Yeah, cool.
So I don't know if you want me to roll more.
You don't need to roll.
Okay.
You guys are going to... You've already collected enough parts of this fish. So Vab's brother starts steering the ship towards South Shore docks. As you can see that the ferry is currently docked there.
Cool.
Anyone doing anything else while...
Gobber overboard.
She's not overboard.
Yeah, I know.
Adele is just looking for the spines, so he can see if there are any trophies he can take.
There aren't. There aren't, I'm sorry, sir. Anyone else doing anything else?
I might have a look through this pile of rubbish next to me just to see if there is anything worth having. Detection?
Oh yeah. Very much so. Cool. Just gotta consult my chart, sorry. So you find a spherical object that looks very, very complicated.
Okay.
It's about the size of a football-ish, maybe slightly smaller.
Okay.
It's made of metal. Looks very complicated. It's got crystalline parts embedded into it, and it has a crack running through it.
I think I need to ask Vab what this is. But she's
And
downstairs.
as you move it away from the pile, it floats up out of your hand.
Ah. Okay.
Yep.
Have I got any clue what this thing is?
Make a intelligence roll, and I'm adding the bonus for you being in the military. You think it's a cortex.
It's a cortex.
You think it's a cortex.
Damaged cortex.
Yep.
Okay.
1 second. Yeah, there it is. Change to everybody. Alrighty. So as this cortex floats up off the ground, various pieces of scrap float out of the piles and start collecting towards it, clanging metal noises as pieces of scrap connect to each other, slowly forming a larger and larger mound of scrap. Eventually this pile of scrap starts to heave and rise up out of the piles of scrap onto the deck and form a vaguely humanoidish construction of scrap metal. I've now clicked show to players so you can see the picture of it.
Oh. Oh dear.
Right. Do we need to roll initiative?
Yes, you do.
Oh, okay. That was unexpected.
I semi-expected, but decided to stay nappy. Yes! Yes!
Do you know what a Junker Hulk is then?
Vaguely, but I'm sorry for the shout.
It's fine, dude. It's fine. I take it you got a good initiative roll.
I got the best initiative roll.
Fair enough.
Sorry, that was apologies, everyone listening. That was rather loud.
You know, a long time ago I told you there was multiple encounters that you could have had.
Yeah.
Well, when you first investigated the scrapyard, you had either the chance of fighting this in the scrapyard or the collections guy. And when you first came out on the boat, you either fought the whole grinder or this guy. Depending
This
on.
time we get both.
Well,
because
you got
you're
both
lovely.
because he rolled really fucking high on his detection roll.
Yeah, because you're lovely. It's great. You give us all the best things, Tom.
Okay. So Adele, what did you roll? 23. Because his never goes on the tracker because of reasons. Righty-ho, so that gives me a Murta with a mighty 31.
Yes.
You
Where is
actually
it?
rolled initiative for the first time in your life.
I know. It's great. I feel so happy.
Yep.
And now Murta dies horribly, probably. Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Maybe he dies. Maybe he doesn't die. Maybe you all die.
Rocks
So-
fall.
So it is Murta's go.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to turn around.
Mhm.
So I can't charge it.
Nope.
Because having to turn around.
Yep.
But that means I can't spend a feat point for relentless charge then. One moment.
I'll be back in just 1 second.
Okay.
But yes, this is what my character is meant to roll. Well, it's not what he's meant to roll. That's ridiculously high. But yes.
Like 26, 27.
Yeah.
That's what it's meant to roll. How is initiative calculated?
Sorry,
What
what
was
was that?
JP, you go.
I said if Vab's in on it. Because she just took our heavy hitter gun down into the basement.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
she did.
You have the grenades, right, Alan?
Yeah, I've got a bag full of them. But
Okay.
yeah.
You want to have a look see. Though throwing grenades on a boat seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons I was kind of, when Tom was like I saw it on Black Sails, I was kind of like, okay. But I know that pirates did use them, I just didn't think Rick's pirates would have. But I will go with what the DM says, because DM is, yes.
So if
But-
you want to run over and grab them and see if lobbing grenades at it will be the...
Yeah. Like I said, I've got a vague idea what it is, but not enough to be able to metagame this.
Yep.
But it seems... I remember I've talked to people and they're like, oh, they're super fun. So I was not being sarcastic when I was going, you give us all the fun things. It's genuinely interesting. So, yeah. But, yeah, basically it would be a turnaround. That would cost me 2 to get out.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
So, yeah, what are you doing?
I'm just working out what kind of distance I can actually go.
Okay.
Because that would cost me 2.
Mhm.
3.
Mhm.
Well, 2, 4. 6, because I'd be leaving that space.
Yep.
7 would get me in front of it.
Mhm.
I've forgotten how to do the thing that I showed you all how to do.
Just move your model, dude.
I was just working out if I could get to the side of it. I'm going to spend a feat point to run and gun, so
Okay.
I get double speed.
Yep.
Which will then allow me to move up to its side.
Yep.
Basically, the idea is after the first hit, I'll hopefully be able to bounce around it.
Mhm.
I'll use
I mean,
my
you'll
quick
only be
action.
moving 1 square per sidestep, remember, because of the rough terrain.
That is a good point.
I know it is.
So,
I made it.
but with the 14, it still lets me get to there.
Sure.
It does mean every time it turns round, I'm basically stuffed. But hey, this is how these things work.
Mhm.
So because of the start of the combat, I get my free draw. I have got my assassin's blades out.
I mean, you've all still got your weapons out.
Yeah.
No one said I hide my weapons.
Yeah. So I would use my quick action to stow my gun, and then I get my free stuff to draw my blades.
Well, yeah, you're the only one that was armed differently than probably people want to be armed.
Yeah. So
Vab took the big gun downstairs.
She hasn't taken your gun. Oh, no, she
No,
has actually.
she has.
Sorry, no, she has taken your gun. My
Okay.
apologies. My apologies, she has. So you've got your trench knife.
That's the repeating rifle, so...
Oh, yeah, of course you do.
So my first attack hits but tinks, but it's enough to let me step into the back arc, which is all I really need.
You can't get back arc on it.
What?
It doesn't have a back arc.
Oh, it doesn't have a back. Oh,
It's a
that's so
swirling pile of scrap.
cool. Awesome. I shouldn't be excited about something that I'm not going to be able to hit very hard.
Yep.
But it's cool. So yes. 1 point.
Yep.
To its 4.
Yep.
Followed by nothing. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Tink, tink, tink.
Brilliant. Adele, it is your turn, sir.
I have assumed it's a construct, Tom.
It is.
Cool. Just because if it was living, yeah.
I know your rules,
Yeah.
dude.
Hello.
Adele, it is your turn.
Hey, I'm sorry. Could someone say something?
I said it's your turn.
Thing.
Yeah, sorry. My headphone lead fell out, so
Mm-hmm.
couldn't hear. Okay, well, Adele is going to be Adele, and he's going to
Cast bleed.
target it with bleed and, do his usual thing.
I need to know
boosted
what.
hit and boosted damage, please.
Right, boosted hit and boosted damage. Okay. Okay. It's quite the roll. Okay. Cool.
And I would like to do that again.
Boosted hit, boosted damage.
That's the one.
Okay. Did you just roll the same damage twice? You did, just with different dice. Okay.
And then
One second. I have to actually input the damage. Otherwise you get ahead of yourself. You passed your fatigue roll.
Wonderful. That's what I was going to ask.
Mhm.
And in that case, I'm going to cast Ashen Cloud around myself, centered on myself.
Okay. And then you've passed your test again. You absolute jammy bastard. So you want it on yourself?
Yes, please.
Nope. 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 Okay, it won't let me move it. I know it's on you, okay?
Okay, cool. And
Balasar's
that's me
turn.
done.
Balasar, what will you do? First, he's going to use a quick action to draw his axe, because he was the only one of you that wasn't holding a weapon. And then he'll go 1, 2 inches to there, 3, 4 inches to there, 5, 6 inches to there, 7, 8 inches to there, 9, 10 inches to there, 11, 12 inches to there. Okay. He had to run. Like, legitimately, he needs to get into the fight. So, Constantine, it's your turn, sir.
Right. Can I move under the crane?
Yes.
Right, okay. So I have to spend a feat point for parry.
I would assume so.
Yeah. And then if I move to there,
Mm-hmm.
am I out of its melee?
Yes.
Right. Okay. In which case, first quick action to draw the 2 hand cannons off the...
1 second. I just need to check something, sorry. I'll be with you in just 1 second. Right, okay. You will be affected by Ashen Cloud.
Okay.
It's -2 to attack rolls to all models without immunity fire.
Yep. Okay, that's fine. So draw both of the hand cannons.
Yep.
So the hand cannon and the head cannon.
Yep.
And then spend a feat point to double fist into the.
So you're spending 2 feat points right at the beginning.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Well, you know.
Yeah, no. I mean, use them if you got them.
Targeted roll.
So that's 23. So that's. Yep.
Like
Okay.
a especially different noise when it's fired.
Yeah, it's kind
Maybe
of like
like
a
scream.
whoomp. Kind of makes
It's
a
like the Yell
noise.
gun from Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Yarg gun. Oh no.
So 1 point. Okie dokie. All right, and then quick action to. Oh no. Yeah.
I mean, I could reload. Yeah, I'll reload the.
Oh no, you spent a quick action to draw your pistols, didn't you?
So, yeah. So drawing the pistols was one quick action.
Yep. So you haven't got any
And then
left.
Sorry. Yeah, it's just one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Go. Yep. Fine.
Okay. You got a crit on one of your hits, by the way.
Solid.
Awesome.
You rolled a double 2. Hey, it still counts.
Yeah.
Vab comes up from this hatch and says, "What the bleeding hell is that?" Here, and hands Jostin his. Because you haven't had a go yet, so you're currently stood there with nothing in your hands.
Yep.
So she's going to use a full action to hand you your rifle back, your Revan Express rifle, that now has a hole grinder tooth attached to the front as a bayonet. So, rules-wise, it is a standard bayonet, so when attached to a rifle, it becomes, stat-wise, it's a great weapon. So I don't know if you have skill in great weapon or not, but...
I don't know that I do.
But...
We'll figure it out.
That's
So
what
I have 8 points.
Yeah, that's what it counts as.
Okay.
So basically, the way it works is you can use your ranged weapon as a melee weapon. It's got reach, and so typically bayonets have a -1 attack modifier. You can take specialization bayonet. I think trenches would automatically have that. So
Yeah, I don't think I think normally they do, but I don't get it because
I'm just gonna say you do, because
okay.
you were a trencher for years. Now, typically it says that they're PAL 3, but this one is PAL 4
Neat.
because of what it is made of. When you charge with it, you gain +2 to your attack rolls because it's on a rifle. Okay? So, PAL 4, +2 to charge attack rolls, and gives you reach. Alright. So that was her action. Now it is the Junker Hulk's turn. Although you don't know it's called a Junker Hulk. Sorry for being slow, but I have to go through things. Right, so because it is engaged with 2 models, I have to randomize. Okay, so it's going to go for him. Where is it, Matt? Okay. So it does 3 damage to the 3 on Balasar. And then it is going to throw him. So it'll do a strength roll. Come on, Junker Hulk, where are you? Where is its strength? And then Balasar has to do a strength roll to resist. Which he of course fails. Balasar's... Can he use a feat point to re-roll that? Alan, I'm asking you.
It threw me out of the Roll20 for a minute, so I was just checking.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's
Skill or willpower roll. So it's a skill roll, surely, because it's a strength roll.
What's he rolling?
For strength to avoid being thrown.
It's a contested skill roll, effectively.
Yeah, sure. So we'll go with a re-roll then, because he really doesn't want to get thrown. He still fails. So he's going to be thrown. Oh shit. Okay, so that's not good. Sploosh. He's in the water. And then it's going to make... so that is targeted roll on him. And targeted roll on him. So you see shards of metal and wood spray out of the swirling mass of scrap as it sprays scrap down along the line of the ship at Constantine and Adele. Savvy? Joston, it's your turn.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Let's see. I'm gonna move a little so I can actually see it.
Mhm.
2, 3.
I mean, you can stay still if you want. That cloud is actually slightly further down. If you wanted to stay still, you can.
Then I shall.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know because I didn't put the cloud perfectly. It's supposed to be surrounding Adele.
Seems good.
Yeah.
Well, it's big and scary, so I'm giving it both barrels.
Sounds legit. Oh, and by the way, you wouldn't have healed in between these two combats because you didn't have time to rest.
I used a feat point and then got one back from.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Initiative. Yeah. Ooh.
FYI, you don't get feat points for rolling crits on initiative rolls.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Then
No,
I will be on a feat point.
Yeah, you gain them from skill rolls or attacks, not initiative or willpower.
Well, I hit.
Yeah, you
Boy,
did.
do I hit.
Yeah, you did. And you did 13, so that's...
Then I will take... I'll take 2 to my 5.
Okay. So your
Smarts.
Revan express gun tears a massive chunk through the upper left quadrant of the Junker Hulk. You didn't aim, did you?
Technically, no.
So you can reload them.
Yeah, I'll use. I have a free quick action to reload, and then I guess I'll give it a normal shot.
Yep. So it's either normal shot or reload twice. Is how you work, isn't it? Cool. Go for it, man.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Alrighty, so
How
that's...
14s are strong.
Yeah, they are. 3. Okay, cool. 3 to the 4. Okay, cool. Brilliant. Well done, mate. Nice. Murta, it's your turn.
Murderer is realizing we'd probably be doing better with his gun.
I knew I learnt this for something.
So, I am having a brief think. That feels slightly metagamey to switch to the gun, but it's something he'd probably notice since he's a professional, so...
I was going to say
guess
it's
I
not
feel okay with
metagamey
that.
because you just did like 3 attacks that did nothing, so
Yeah,
it's not metagamey.
cool. Yeah, it's...
It is your last feat point, though, surely.
No, I've got 2 feat points.
Okay.
I spend a feat point for parry.
No, it's okay. You've got 2, it's fine.
So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to move back to near the wheel.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
A quick action to store his blades.
Mm-hmm.
He spends a feat point to gain a quick action to pull out his gun.
Yep.
And then he's going to take a couple of shots at the big thing.
Yep.
Are we assuming reloaded between combats or not?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Just checking
No,
because
fine.
didn't state it.
Constantine did, and he would have ordered you to, I assume.
Yeah.
So nothing.
Yeah, everyone does.
Yep. So
Blam,
Adele,
blam.
Adele, it is your turn.
Okay, so Adele is going to fasten the grappling hook around the rail. If he needs to move to get close to where Balthasar is, he will. And then he is going to basically rappel down the side of the ship to go rescue the only friend he actually has in the party.
What? You got loads
After
of
all,
friends.
no one else fed him soup. I mean, that's special friendship right there. So
Okay.
Adele is going to go rescue Balthasar.
I think it would be incorrect to say the only friend you have.
Oh, he's just emo. I mean, when isn't he not being dramatic? So-
Okay, so where... Because you can move further than that. Well, actually, sorry. No, I need a swimming roll off you now.
Okay. Is that just a strength check?
It is a strength check. If you have the skill swimming, then you can use the skill swimming because it gives you a bonus.
Okay.
For example, Balasar has swimming 1. Okay, so you rolled a 12. What armor are you wearing? Tailored plate.
Yes, that's the one.
So tailored plate has a -1 death modifier, so it would give you a -2 to your roll. I take it you don't have the swimming skill?
No, I don't.
So
But I'm
you
hoping
can
that's
move...
still holding onto the grapple.
Yeah, you can move 1 square.
Okay.
Right, it says a roll of a 10 can move 6 feet, which is 1 square.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, I think that's probably my entire turn to do that.
It is your entire turn to do that. It is
That's
now
what I thought.
Balasar's turn. So he's going to try and do some swimming. Swimming is a strength roll. So he rolled a 9 because... Oh no, he rolled an 8. Because he's wearing -1 death armor.
But he'd boost that, surely, because he wants to get back up into the fight.
Well, he didn't, so he can re-roll it. Spends 1. Re-rolls it. and he rolled worse. He splutters around in the water, and he's going to spend a further feat point to re-roll that, because he really doesn't like the idea of drowning. Hey! He can move 1 square. He's going to move towards you. Constantine, this is your turn, sir.
Right. I'm going to stow the hand cannon, which is a free action.
Yep.
I'm going to reload the head cannon.
Yep.
And then I am going to fire it. And it makes this noise. I can hear this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear that?
No.
Damn it. Something else.
Bisto.
Turn up the volume on. This is a very...
Just don't wake up the baby.
That's what?
Okay.
Right, okay. So, I'm going to fire it at the Junker Hulk thing that we don't know what it is.
Yep.
That's what it is.
1 second. Just checking.
There you go.
Yeah, that's all good. Alright. So...
There.
3 damage. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 3. Cool. Happy days. So you did all your quick actions before, didn't you? Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, Vab is going to run. She's the queen of the world.
So that was 6 damage, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was 3.
Construct.
So I'm just going to randomise. Oh, right, okay. So... Okay, cool. Alrighty. So recognising that the biggest chunk of damage it took came from the Trollkin, it whips itself up into the air in a swirl of scrap and charges towards him. Trust, I randomised it. Oh. I forgot to do targeted.
We could just check the thing.
I didn't do targeted, so I know that an 18 hits you. I don't remember.
Yes.
I don't.
Yes, it does.
I don't remember what your armor is.
11.
So take 9 damage to the 6.
I will spend a feat point.
I'm just going to briefly check. So his command area is 42.
Does it round up or round down? Sorry.
So you are in my command area. It rounds up, so it would be 5 damage.
5.
So interestingly, Balasar is in the water, getting real angry.
He's super pissed.
So that's my body. So he's that is actually relevant because he gains +2 strength.
Yep.
I think it's +2 strength. It might be +2 to melee rolls. I'm not sure. I hope it's
It's strength and armor.
Yeah, I hope it's plus strength because it means he can get out of the water. Yeah, +2 strength. So he's a stronger boy now. Then he is going to let's randomize this as well. Okay, so that's going to go at Constantine. Okay, he misses. So a stream of scrap impales in the deck, jagged bits of metal impacting and embedding themselves in the wooden deck of the ship in front of Constantine's feet.
I am very glad that missed.
Yep. Justin, it's your turn, sir.
Well, first I spend 1 to heal 6.
Yeah, you do. How much did you go down to, by the way?
I had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 6 left,
No, that's not too bad.
I think. Yeah, like 6 left.
That's not too bad.
I had 8 damage on me.
Alrighty.
And then I'll try out this spicy new bayonet.
Yeah, man.
'Cause why not?
Stab him with the pointy end.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's basically if you don't have the great weapon skill, it's basically your prowess.
I had a point in it.
Oh,
you
cool.
get one for being a trencher.
That's
so
I did think that,
yeah.
you know, I couldn't be 100% sure.
Well, I connect, but I do. Oh, I deal 1 damage.
Yeah,
Solid.
you
Then I do it again since I'm skilled.
do. 1 second.
That one's much better. And I get a feat point back.
So
4 points.
sorry, I'm just checking the roll. So plus 11s because your strength. What strength is your
7.
character? 7. He's strength 7.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking
Yes.
Christ.
It was a prerequisite to shoot this giant ass rifle.
Yep. So you did 1 damage and then you did 2 damage. Okay.
Wouldn't it be?
So
Or
half.
halves because it's a warjack.
Oh, okay.
So
didn't
1
pick up
damage
on that
to
for
the
some reason.
1, and then 2. I'm
Well,
trying not
fine.
to metagame it too much for you guys to know exactly what it does.
Yeah.
But yep. So good job. The goblin mechanics. Edel's turn. No, Murta's turn. Sorry, Murta. What are you doing, sir?
Murta is going to aim and fire off 2 more shots
Cool.
and hope this does things. Yes! He hurt something!
Yeah, you did.
Uh,
And by the way, you actually did better because of the intellectual bonus. That actually counts as 3 damage rather than 2 damage.
Yeah.
And then the other one does nothing.
Yeah. Well, you can keep firing.
So
And because I aimed, yeah.
you can't reload.
Yeah, that's what I was that's what I just reminded myself of.
Adele, it is your turn. Swimming roll, sir. The only caveat that I'm giving with your swimming is you will not suffer the negative effects of like you just rolled pretty bad, right? So yeah.
Yes, that was terrible.
No, but I'm just letting you know, right? So you rolled an 8 with your armor. That makes that a 6, and a result of a 8 or less, you suffer D3 damage from choking. You will not, because you are holding onto the rope attached to the grappling to the side of the ship. So you're not going to choke. You just won't move. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't need to worry. It's all good.
Okay. I was just wondering if it's worth re-rolling so I can reach Balasar.
Depends on your feat point economy.
I think I have only 2
You've got
points
2.
left.
You've got 2.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, to move half your speed, you need to roll essentially a 13 or more.
Yeah, with strength 4, I think that's unlikely.
Because the thing is, because of your -2, because of the armor you're wearing, moving half your speed, you need to get an 11 to a 13. So for you, that's a 13 to a 15 because of your armor. So you're unlikely to move anything more than an inch. Ever.
Adele is going to make a note to himself and to his silent friend to buy another grapple pistol when he gets the opportunity.
What, to harpoon my character through the leg with?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Fantastic. Balasar is going to do the angriest swimming you've ever seen.
Angry swimming.
And 1 second, I just want to check something. Yeah, this is... You can see that he's furious, and he's going to spend his last feat point as well to boost it.
Did Adele upkeep the cloud?
I'm assuming he didn't.
No, I didn't see any reason to.
Cool.
Should I have?
No, I was just curious.
Oh my guys, do you see Balasar's swimming role?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Did you see that I haven't even added the +2 yet?
Solid.
So the roll of a 14 or more, which is the highest you can do, is you move your full speed. So because he's wearing armor, it gives him -2 to his roll, but the +2 strength from being angry is +2 to the roll. So he essentially can go wherever the fuck he wants. He's going to cling on to Adele and go, "Hey, buddy. Constantine, it is your turn."
Right, so I guess I'm turning to face it.
Yep.
And I'm reloading.
Yep.
And then I'm unloading.
Unloading, like it.
You know.
Oh boy. Oh fucking hell. Right. Fantastic. Roll another 2d6.
Oh gosh. That's not good.
Oh, and if you weren't aware, you got a feat point back for your hit because you rolled double 4.
Oh, cool.
So the head cannon roars as it barks another shot at the Junker Hulk. You hit it square centre mass, and something inside explodes in a flash of blue flame and light. All the scrap loses all of its whatever's keeping it up in the air and together, and it just falls apart into a pile of scrap.
That was actually really a really fun little encounter. That I actually really enjoyed that.
we
Despite
all get a
Murta
feat
doing
point?
nothing.
Yes, everyone that attacked it gains a feat point.
Cool.
Yay!
Did Balasar never attacked it?
I think Balasar, didn't he run next to it on his first go?
He did, and do you know what I forget?
You can run and gun.
Nope, more annoying than that.
Go on.
Counter charge?
Well, he could have. Right, he has retaliatory strike, so it hit him with the fist. He should have hit it back before it threw him, but I'm bad at the game, so he didn't.
That's fine.
Yeah, Balasar doesn't gain a feat point. Everyone else does, though, because everybody else did something.
Cool.
Alrighty.
I also got a crit earlier on firing my rifle because when you fire lots of shots, it turns out you might get crits.
It's even better if you've got Virtuoso.
Right, so reload everything, stow everything.
Yep.
Before I even think of reloading, I'm gonna go over and
Update inventory.
get some rope and help them out if I can.
Yep, so you find it quite easy to pull them up onto the deck with a combination of Adele. Oh, I killed Balasar. Sorry.
Oh no!
So Adele can just winch himself up, and Balasar grabs the rope that Justin throws down and pulls himself up.
Well,
And-
Adele is going to slap Balasar on the shoulder and say, "You okay there?"
He says, "Cheers, buddy. Really appreciate you sticking your neck out for me."
We're a team.
Amen to that.
He nods and looks around and says, "What in the hell was that thing?"
I don't know, but I didn't like it. Feel like I've been hit by a freight train.
Adele is going to go and search the wreckage to see if he can find the cortex.
Cool.
You got any idea what that was, Vab?
She comes over and says, "Nope, never seen anything like that before." Huh. Sure is strange. Adele, you find nothing.
Adele beckons to Constantine and says,
Use your hyper
"Do you
perception.
want to? Do you want to see if you can identify something since you were the one who disturbed it?"
I can give it a try.
And have the
Sorry
best
about
detection
disturbing it.
in the game.
But if I detect another cortex that gains whatever that happened there. Right. Okay.
So you find a shattered portion of the cortex, blackened and splintered open.
Yep. That makes sense. Let's try and avoid this in future.
Vab looks at you and says, "Can I take a look at that?"
Sure thing.
She looks it over and says, "I have never heard of such a thing before. You guys say it was a cortex you found on my boat?"
Seems so.
Well, I got the last shipment of scrap came from downriver, off to the east. I picked it up off another boat, but they never said anything about anything this valuable being in amongst it.
Discord just died for me, so it cut off what I was saying. So I missed whatever anyone else was saying as well.
They found the shard of the cortex blackened and warped from the explosion. And Vab was saying that she never thought anything this as valuable as a cortex would be on her scrap boat.
Well,
Okay.
I said to Constantine, well, perhaps we can get it repaired and, maybe someone would pay good coin for it.
I'm going to look at Vab, look at Adele, and then just turn and say, I don't think this can be fixed.
And Vab looks kind of greedily at it and says, "And it's not yours anyway."
Been sent in intentionally? Perhaps whoever you were getting your scrap from, or someone who might have it in for you?
She doesn't think of anybody that might have it in for her.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
She doesn't think anybody has it in for her.
Well,
Now, hang about, Vab. This is the second time we've saved your life. The first time was from another Jack, as I recall. I think you're being a little hasty here.
She seems a bit like, no, I don't know.
Well, I'm sure we could split things, as we've done with the fish.
In what regard?
Well, to selling the cortex to someone who might be interested in it.
Well, you know it's not a cortex anymore, right?
Well, it was. I'm sure someone would be interested.
Well, the only people I can think of that might even be vaguely interested would be them snooty bastards at the Fraternal Order of Wizardry. They fabricate cortexes. They're the only people that do in Five Fingers. They might be interested in it.
Well then, would you like us to play agent and see if we can sell it to them?
Oh,
If they're
no.
as snooty as you say,
I'm not letting
perhaps
this out of my sight.
well, you're welcome to come along with us.
And that I will. I'm not letting this thing out of my sight.
Fantastic. Good. It'll be nice to share more company with you.
Alrighty. So Vab's brother is still driving the boat, and by this point you guys are at South Shore.
It's worth checking with Vab how much she actually wants for these grenades, the bag, and the jagged bit of metal.
She says the jagged bit of metal you can have.
Cool.
The grenades you can have for saving her life.
Great. We have 3 grenades, which I am going to give to Jostin, because that seems intelligent.
Do they seem like regular grenades, or...
Yeah, explosive grenades, mate.
Sweet.
So I believe they're POW 12 AoE 3.
Believe that's correct. Someday I will use these smoke grenades that I've had since the beginning.
Nah, man, play it like a JRPG. You got to keep those until you're fighting God.
There's gonna be a time.
Yeah, like you keep them until you're fighting God at the end, and then you still go. There might be post game. There might be post game content.
Exactly. I'm sorry, did you say 3 of them?
Yes, 3 explosive grenades.
Neato.
That fight has sealed my choice post-game, though.
What's that?
Since I hit with every single rifle shot, I am definitely taking rifle 2.
Nice.
Alrighty. So, if anybody doesn't have anything else to say, as the scrap boat docks on the jetty at South Shore, you notice stood at the end of the pier are the Strop brothers and a crowd of locals. They're giving you a round of applause as they no doubtedly heard the explosion and kind of figured out what the hell was going on. Some of them would have used spyglasses to witness what was going on. So one of the Merrick brothers approaches Constantine and says, I wouldn't have thought it, but sorry, he's like, I wouldn't have thought it, but it appears you have gone and done the impossible.
Speaking Kadorian.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to reply in the impossible just remains impossible only as long as someone fails to accomplish it.
Well said. Well, I believe payment is in order. Honestly, I'm a little bit reluctant to part with my money. Now I come to the time of actually having to, but a deal's a deal. Here is your money.
Good. So that's the 200. We take 50 out to give to Vab.
Yep.
So
and he says, and of course, as also promised, you can travel on my ferry for free anytime.
Huzzah!
I pull out the contract that we originally wrote up with him, and just ask him to sign agreeing that it's been completed and that is definitely something that is a full promise for as long as his business exists.
He looks confused and signs.
Yeah, it's basically the receipt thing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of insurance that if he ever goes, no, I'm going to charge you for the ferry, I can just go, well, not I, we can go, well, you may.
Oh, no, I totally get it. If you've ever read the Discord books, you guys are very much acting like Two Flower. So, like, you're turning up with these notions like he did in Discord of, like, insurance. And they're like,
yes,
what?
Yes, yes. Oh, I forgot Two Flower. He's so precious.
Yeah.
He is so precious.
So, like, you guys are coming in with all these ideas and policies, and the regular folk are just like, what? Okay, I guess, and just sign.
The power of paper, Mr. Murtagh.
So, with that collected, this is GM voice. Every single payday you've had so far, you guys have been just paying the party pot. I understand as GM that a lot of the time you were doing that because you were wanting to save up to pay the Widows and Orphans Fund. You don't have to pay that anymore, as you know. I would suggest some of this gets divvied out between... this is just me, GM, saying you don't have to do it. I would suggest that some of it gets divvied out amongst players so players have individual spending money for the first time. It's just my suggestion. You don't actually have to do it.
So there was 4 of us here. Balazar is probably, as always, going to refuse to have anything.
Yes, so as you're talking about divvying up the money, Balazar says, I need not any money.
Right, so...
Well, what about Francois? Did he come along?
No, Francois is defending the base.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I would suggest is 70 into the pot and 80 shared between people, although because we've obviously been putting everything into the pot, if people want to kind of share this out between the 4 of us in its entirety, I would understand that, but my vote would be 70 in the pot, 80 between people, just because that's an easier split than half in the pot, half between people.
What's currently in the pot?
The pot is currently, if you give me a moment to, because when it threw me out of Roll20, it also closed all of the sheets for me. So there is 44 gold, 9 silver, and 19 copper.
Is that including the 10 you got?
Let's put 70 in the pot.
Is that including the 10 you got from the guardsman?
That is including the 10 we got it from the guard.
Okay.
I think that we should have a minimum of 100 in the pot if we can manage it.
Other people's points of view?
I was, before anyone said anything, my notion was 50 in the pot and then split the 100 between the rest of us.
Justin?
That's
JP?
You're very quiet, dude.
Can you guys hear me at all?
Can now.
Hello? Okay. I don't know what's happening. 50... How much do we already have in the pot?
40 something.
So we have
For
near as damn it 45 gold.
Yeah. I mean, 50 in and then split the rest doesn't seem terrible.
Yeah.
Dude.
The only other thing worth mentioning is we are still looking to try and buy a forge, which is expensive.
Yeah. How much does that actually end up costing?
Well, we have most of the infrastructure, and just the anvil is 80 gold according to the book. But if like a mechanics workshop is normally like 500 gold. But me and Tom have had a discussion about this, and we have a lot of the infrastructure already, but we haven't agreed a price yet.
It also depends what we can get from Vab and refurbish.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk
So
to her
it's-
about it then?
Yeah. So
On the way back.
we can so maybe we agree to work out splitting it after we've worked out the forge.
I mean, why don't you just talk to her now? Like, she's right there.
Yeah. Okay.
oh,
So hey Vab,
Hello?
I know when we talked to you before, you weren't 100% sure about anything forge related, but since you've had some time to think about it, we've already got most of the building stuff. Our man Mac has been telling us about what he needs, and I kind of list off what he actually needs, and I go,
Which
"Do
is
you
from
have
my
it?"
memory, anvil, bellows, and some tools.
Basically.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe a hoist.
Yeah, for the warjack.
Yep. She says, well, I'll be honest with you, for you guys, she gives you a little wink as she's tossing her 50 gold coin purse up and down. She goes, I can hook you up.
Solid.
Awesome. How much is that going to cost, our friend?
She says, and pulls out a dirty notebook that's very well thumbed, starts flicking through it, and goes, carry the three, the other things, and then, I mean, combine it with you guys signing an exclusive deal for scrap, right?
I have no objection to that as the quartermaster, and it would need all of the current party to overrule.
I mean, I saw.
Of course, it would be exclusive.
I saw you talking about exclusivity earlier.
Yeah.
So I could probably do it for. I could probably get you the parts. I won't be able to get you them now, but I can probably get you them for 70 gold.
Okay, that's really, really good, actually. Yeah. So, Murta wouldn't know that, but me as the player, that's extraordinarily good, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm for that. All for that.
So,
Wonderful.
Alrighty.
Captain,
Yes.
and Adele turns to Constantine and says in Laelies, do you remember the stable hand, the one that Murta likes? I don't remember the name. Shall we try to, while we're in good graces?
While we're in good graces.
You know, try to get him employed by these Merrick folk. You will remember we were going to play agent.
yeah,
See if we could resolve things.
the stable hand at the South Shore stable.
GM voice. He wasn't a stable hand. He owns the stable company.
I know, out of character, I know that, but this is Adele being Adele.
Fair enough. He also,
out of character.
yeah, he
Yes.
also explicitly said he did not want to work for them. He has owned a business, and his family have owned a business for generations.
And also, didn't he intimate to us that the possibility that there was some kind of illegal connection that he then refused to follow up on because he was scared of the consequences?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he did, but we also said that we would talk to them and see if we could work out some kind of
I
partnership.
mean, you are remembering
and then
correctly.
take it to him.
Well,
So.
right, he was unwilling to give us the 200 gold, wasn't he? He didn't really want to do it, and he's a bit of a hard case. I don't know whether it's advisable.
I don't think it's advisable, but I have had an idea.
Go on.
Vab,
Yes.
how do you... So, there's a stable locally, which used to deal more with people coming in to Five Fingers, but since you're potentially going to be able to expand your business with our exclusive contract, you might be able to find a way of expanding your business onto the mainland, which you'll need someone who has carts and horses. Maybe you would like to have a partnership with the South Shore stables.
She holds her chin in her big gobber hands. Gobbers have large hands and feet compared to the size of their bodies. And says, yeah, I mean, if there's people down on South Shore that want to buy scrap, sure. I mean, is there a market? Is there anyone else selling scrap down here?
That is an excellent question, but maybe if we introduced you to this stable guy, you guys could work that out between you and see if there's any business going forward with that, because Murta would not have paid attention to the fact that there is a scrap merchant in South Shore.
Well, there's only the logging that I could see. I thought the place was pretty dead.
Make a
cemetery.
Make a detection roll.
Who?
Any of you. Because I'm guessing you just can't remember what I said the first time you came here.
No, there is a boat there that
and
has
a scrapyard.
rigging. Yeah, but it's not something that Murta would have necessarily paid attention to.
Yep. So Constantine says there's a dredging boat and scrapyard right there. Well, no, you don't say that because I can't tell you what you say. You see that. I need to correct myself sometimes. Yeah, so Constantine can see a dredging boat and a scrap yard.
Well, there's a dredging boat and scrapyard right there.
Apologies for briefly
That's all right, don't worry.
nearly controlling your character.
To which Murta will be like, "Oh, great! It's like, you know, that's another business to like all work together, and you can expand into like that way. Signar, you can expand into Signar and expand and get ways of bringing stuff in. The stable guy's happy because he's got a steady way of bringing stuff in, and he's been running that stables in his family for however many generations it was. He said it enough to Murta that Murta would know."
Yep.
And then you've possibly got buddies to expand with over there. You've got your boat. Actually, this sounds like the start of a beautiful, beautiful enterprise.
Meanwhile, Adele wanders towards the crowd and waves to them and says, "We are the Grey Lanterns.
Here we go.
Hello. We're here to take questions if you have any."
A little kid comes up and says, "Cool, blimey, mister. Did you guys really kill that big fish?"
Absolutely, we did. You can see the chunks of it on the dock, I believe. And Adele turns behind him to see if the Merrick brothers have taken any trophies.
They have not.
If not, he's going to say to Balasar, calling over, "You know, we should take one of these to the local. They could mount it on the wall. What do you think?"
What does who think?
The local, as in the local pub.
Oh, or the South Shore Inn?
They're local by the Grey Lantern headquarters, but wherever. Adele is never very clear, so it could mean any number of things.
I don't even know who he was talking to, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, Balasar.
Alright, Balasar says, "Ah."
Justin, you're good at skinning things.
Time to make a fillet of fish. Time to make a fillet of fish.
Of course I do. I've wanted to eat this thing since I first saw it.
Yeah, so
Wonderful.
Survival roll, please, sir.
I guess I can do that. You know what? I'm gonna boost it, because why not?
Yeah, man.
You beautiful, beautiful man.
Alrighty, so Justin gets to work with his trench knife, cutting up chunks of hull grinder, avoiding the bits with shrapnel. He prepares enough for 20 meals.
Should I be putting these meals that you're finding in the party fund?
No, because these are perishables.
Right.
These will not last long. It's raw fish. The ones that you found at the mansion are, like I said and described, wax-wrapped cheese, salted meats. They'll last a long time.
Yeah, because we found 10 at the mansion.
Yes, but that will last.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about the expiration date on that. Was my intention.
Cool. It's I was wondering whether JP was keeping it in his inventory or he wanted it dumped.
No, that's too much for me to keep in my inventory. That's silly.
Okay.
I couldn't eat all that. I mean, I could.
I wonder how much people would pay for a meal to sample hull grinder, freshly killed.
A few
I would say it's a delicacy.
Roll oratory. Oh no, you can't do oratory because you don't have it. I don't know what to roll.
The nearest to persuasion that isn't oratory.
Negotiation, I guess.
Yeah. Negotiation's the closest to a
You're
persuasion
trying to be a
roll.
salesman and go roll up, you know, that kind of dealing. Get your whole grinder
Right.
meat right here.
I'll do that and I'll boost it.
So the crowd get a little bit enthusiastic, and they're like, "Yeah!" And you encourage them to have an impromptu barbecue on the beach for the whole grand to meet.
Okay.
How much are we charging?
How much are you charging?
That is a good question. How much are we charging?
It is rare, but it's like this is also not exactly the richest place in the world. Like
It's pretty fucking
maybe.
poor.
Yeah, so it's like even a silver portion would be like most people going, no. So
I guess
We could
we
do it
could
as more of
boost our
a.
name as a charity event.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We could do it more like a getting our name out there type thing.
Yeah, Balasar
If you-
agrees and says this
all
has
that.
been a good day for us.
so we'll give out the food for free,
Okay, cool.
which is I think where I was kind of angling towards, but making sure. My
Yeah, but Adele's a
reasoning
bit
sound.
Adele's a bit mercenary.
Yeah. So we will give the food. We will give the food to like people, and Justin can keep his share because he cut it up and is probably the one cooking it actually.
Yeah, he most certainly would be.
Yeah. So
Dell also takes the opportunity to say to Constantine, while we're here, maybe we should check on that child of yours. What was his name again? Sam something?
that's in Five Fingers, dude.
Well, yeah, but, we're in the rough region.
So you mean not going back with Vab, you mean going across on the ferry?
We've told Sam to take his time, and we've told Sam to come to the base when he's ready. So I think we leave it rather than pressure him.
Also, our car is still
Wonderful.
at Vab's.
Yes, it is.
So, those are expensive. I don't particularly want to spend all the money we've just
No,
made.
but here's the thing. If you wanted to, this is just me GMing to tell you what you could do, is you could say to her, when you get the bits for the forge, can you bring them round in our cart?
In the car, yeah.
And you could just go straight across to. You could either, because this is the end of the session coming up, you can either stay in South Shore and do something from South Shore next week, or you can head up across on the ferry for free. So you don't need to go back with Vab if you don't want to. But likewise, you can go back with Vab if you want.
Well,
do what
if
you
we
want.
stay in South, if we stay in South Shore, I'm going to take the 70 from the 150 we got to pay Vab, and then split the 80 between us. Is that what we should do? What we agree on?
Yeah, I agree.
So 20
And then
each.
that leaves us with around 45 in the pot.
Cool.
Okay. I think the question is, do we want to follow up with the Cortex and see if we can get money out of it, or do we want to go down to the woods?
It's Babs, isn't it, the Cortex?
Yeah, but we can help her with the Fraternal Order.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, she's a gobber, so how seriously are they going to take her?
Reasonably. She's a mechanic.
Fair enough.
I mean,
They-
they're arcane mechanics primarily, but they wouldn't instantly dismiss her.
But they'd probably laugh at the fact she was a gobber until she proved she was a mechanic. But
Yes.
But once she was like, I'm a mechanic, they'd be like, oh, sorry, and then treat her okay.
Yeah. I mean,
They might be up themselves, but not too up themselves.
well, in all honesty, you don't know them yet, so you don't really know how they treat her. So it would be fair to assume that you would probably want to help her out.
Yeah. My bad. Sorry, that's me.
No,
using-
it's fine, dude. It's fine. So I'm just updating the intro page. So what we're going to do is I'm going to switch you over to the break screen. So we're on day 17 or 18 now.
Hey, that was day 18.
Yep. So you're on
So we're
day
about
18.
halfway through day 8.
Yep. So you're now
Christmas fest.
idolised by Vab's scrapyard.
Hey.
And I added liked by South Shore general population.
Yay!
Oh, and sorry, I need to delete the widows and orphans, don't I? Yep. There we go.
Abrams is still there, though.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
Abrams exists.
Yeah, but he gets taken off the liked, disliked thing anyway. Because, well, no, there's a very good reason why I'm taking him off.
He's a Grey Lantern?
Well, because you now have him living at your base, so I just add him to the hirelings section.
Yeah, that's true.
And Francois?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah, Francois, our good buddy.
Who I'm going to teach how to stab shit.
Right, there you go. So you've now got 4 hirelings. You're in South Shore, so current location South Shore. I've deleted the Hull Grinder and investigate the Sheridan Manor from your objectives.
And
so I'm
adding
going
the
to add
Fraternal Order of Wizardry.
help Vab Cell Broken Cortex. Okay. Cool. Is that appropriate?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Feels it.
So, sorry?
I was just being like, and I have more gold than Murta has ever owned at one time himself.
How much did we get again? I didn't write it down.
Basically, the 80 split between the 4 of us would be 20 each.
Yeah, plus the 10 that you got from the Manor House thing, plus items.
Which was...
You ended up with a lot today.
Yeah.
Righty-ho, so I would just like to thank everybody who watched along, either on Twitch or on YouTube. Unfortunately, my device that I used to monitor the Twitch chat died during the last hour, so if you spoke in the last hour and I didn't see it, I'm really sorry. Like to remind everybody, please follow, like, subscribe, all that nonsense. If you have a spare $1 or $2, consider supporting the Patreon. It really does help me out. Everybody, would you like to say goodbye or anything else?
Bye, everyone.
Miss you.
Alrighty.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Happy 4th of July, American viewers.
Oh yeah, happy 4th of July, American viewers.
Celebrate our imperial conquest.
Alrighty, bye bye.